Evening, everyone. We're back. Welcome to episode 7 of the Violet Madness. My name is Mark. I'm your DM and your BFF. So we left off last episode, episode 6, on a very touchy subject with when the guys exited the hag's lair. There was mention of maybe a couple of more covens scattered around Castonia, and one of them bared an interesting last name. It was Vicanus, which prompted a few questions and a few raised eyebrows at Shadar. So there was a little bit of a backstory dump on his part. We can probably touch on that a little bit more if it comes up in conversation. But yeah, as it transpired, the Shadar's older sisters were into some pretty dark things, pretty dark magics, and they're now doing all sorts of evil things as a coven of hags. But the guys were very supportive with that. Tyrion and Damon and Mina and Elfric, they're listen to his story and they're willing to help if the need arises. But we'll get right back into that in just a few minutes. I just have a few, I suppose, announcements from all things Penny Dragon Games. So on Friday, DM Dave and the crew were live, and you can always catch the VOD for it of the Suffering Saga on Penny Dragon's Twitch right now, or you can catch it on YouTube in the coming week. The party have worked their way through the Carved Witch's basement, encountering fiendish traps, married skeletons, and the Carved Witch herself. But one of the party members didn't make it, so it came to a pretty grim end. Then on Tuesday, there's no Fellowship of the Fallen. We'll have another one shot with some old and new faces thrown into the mix. Our adventurers are sent after a cult, trying to raise one of their own to godhood. And then on Thursday, we'll be back in town, back in Vibrance, and the gang so far have cut off LeBlanc's supply to the blue and orange. But not without taking part in a little murder mystery in the meantime. And they solved the mystery by murdering. Then on Friday, I don't believe we have Churn Gang next Friday. I'm just... is that right?
They're off for, an extra couple of weeks.
Okay, cool. So we'll may have something else running instead. So we'll have more on that during the week. And then the Cloaks of Mindhelm return on Sunday the 24th at 7 p.m. This day next week. And with a map to the Fearless Fellows hideout in hand, the party head deeper into the dangerous swamps of Greenmarsh, to the accursed ruins the brigands have taken for their stronghold. So you can catch all that stuff all in the coming week. Then the amazing character, as you see here for our players, was created by Becca at Quadruple Bacon. And you can
love you, Becca.
Well, we all love Becca, and
it's true.
You can find her on Instagram and TikTok as well. And then the background music as well, as always, brought to you by Tabletop Audio. And for all the maps you see during this adventure were created by myself, and you can find all those and more on Instagram at stiglitz.maps or on Twitter at stiglitz. So that's everything. Let's introduce our fearless heroes this evening. First up, we have Stephen.
I'm Stephen, and I am playing Tyrion Shadowbane, the 6'2" heartthrob who
heartthrob.
Chosen. Well, he's charming. Come on, have you not seen his picture?
I do like that he calls me Miss Mina.
That is a year-end photograph, which is for sure. Yeah. Yearbook photograph.
What does he think? Sorry, he is chosen right hand of Thor, and currently just found out his destiny is intertwined with a cleric of the Raven Queen.
Bromance. Hashtag bromance.
Hashtag workwives.
Speaking of work wives, then Dave, you're up next.
Hello, I'm Dave, and I play Shadar Vicanus, Grave Domain, a cleric of the Raven Queen. Shadar is Shadar is a 100-year-old half-elf with long, bright white hair, typically tied into a tight braid. So in human years, he would look around 35 to 45 if it wasn't for that bright white hair. He's usually dressed for battle in black leathers with a black chain shirt and his trusty mace. Shadar wears a long black scarf wrapped tightly around his neck at all times and has a brusque and irritable manner to him. But what came up in chat recently is he's also tattooed to fuck. So you guys might see
I
that
am
as
excited to see these tattoos. I
Yeah.
must say.
That's all for
And
sure.
where they lead.
Mina also has a tattoo, though I don't think it's really come up in chat.
I hope it's not a live, laugh, love one, is it?
No.
No,
Oh, boy.
it's a Hello Kitty doing that.
No. Just like a little Hello Kitty on the hip thing.
Yeah.
No, it's none of that, I promise.
Right.
Well, you may as well continue, Andy. You're up next.
Hi, I'm Andy. I play Mina Dumont. She's a 50-year-old half-elf with tanned skin and long brown curly hair. She's got a friendly smile and she's always happy to make new friends. She's a College of Whispers bard, though she hasn't really shown the party anything too impressive ever. She's dressed not for battle, but for riding, and is currently on the lookout for her missing horse. Please refrain from glue comments this week. She's not the most experienced dungeon delver, as we've learned over the course of these sessions, especially last session, but she's currently being swept into all of this madness with the party.
Alrighty. Next up then we have Matt.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Matt. I'm playing Albrecht, the scholarly half-elven wizard who is enjoying the intellectual challenge of delving into the many mysteries that are unveiling themselves and just finally getting the opportunity to flex his magical skill a little bit with these tricky opponents we've been facing.
Alrighty. And then lastly we have Ryan.
So I'm Ryan. I'm playing Damon Phileas Venusht. I am a tiefling artificer, a battlesmith particularly. And along with me, I have my trusty friend and fellow companion, Rocket.
Very good. And Damon just literally joined and helped out the party just, I suppose in game time, like 20 minutes ago. So so they're really just kind of getting to know each other. And I think that's exactly where we'll pick off. So
Yeah, Damon, welcome to the dating sim. I mean, D&D game.
Also, I think helped out is a relative term. I spent half my time on my back floating around looking at flowers. Yeah, I was there. I
suspect Damon has spent a lot more time than that on his back, but anyway.
Yeah.
Oh! Oh, damn.
Shots fired.
What?
Deep burn.
Oh, I'll give you a deep burn.
Oh, promise? Although it's not supposed to burn. Like, you might want to get that checked out.
Yeah, we have a paladin in the party. He'll sort you out.
I am a tiefling after all.
Yeah. It's there. You just don't feel it.
Yeah. Well, I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the conversation we're having by the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Weren't we just in the middle of Shadar? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
my
think he
sister's
finished.
very
tortured
much
me,
so.
and
I think
and
he
I am
finished. Didn't he?
sad.
Did he
goth
finish?
boy, and
He did. We kind of ended it
Yeah.
as you just finished, and the guys.
Tyrion had pledged his support specifically.
That's right. Yeah.
yes.
So we'll pick up from there. So you have destroyed the hags. You are spending a long rest outside the cave, as it is too late in the night to travel back to town.
Yeah, Shadar's tipping away at the wine. And he's quite quiet now, given that he's sort of emotionally and physically exhausted. Let's pull up his character sheet and see what I used last session.
I'm ready for chat to explode now. But if Mina can do this without being super obvious, she's probably going to set up her sleeping bag in between Shadar and Tyrion, because they're both the big muscled armored dudes. And if we get attacked in the middle of the night, that feels like the safest place to be.
Chat, feel free to explode.
Just saying.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's totally. And
Chat is exploding.
Yep. And if no one has any objections to that, then absolutely go for it.
Between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, Shadar's taking off the chainmail now, so it's just the leathers and the scarf on him at the moment. But they are long, like, you know, it's all of, like he's still completely
It's a
covered.
Raven Queen onesie, we know.
Pretty much, yeah, with little kind of crescent moons on it as well. So he's got the boots off and he's in his bare feet, and he's sort of just wrapped the sleeping bag around him. He hasn't gotten into it yet, and he's just staring into the fire with his bottle of wine.
So question for you, Mark, on the weather. We are in one of the summer months, right? Is this typical of what part of the world? Because summer means different things for different people, you know?
Yep, that is a very good question. So let's
Thanks.
find out what the weather is like. Give me 1 second.
I'm happy to roll if you've got a little chart.
I do have a chart. Could you please roll me 2 D12s? No, sorry, a D10 and a D12.
We were going to get away with this, and you've now summoned a blizzard. You're in trouble.
Look, everyone, Mina's rolling to control the weather.
I got a 10 on the D10 and...
So it is...
Hellfire.
Like when you arrived at this cave, it was kind of cloudy, a little bit windy, but it's starting to kind of be a bit more mild now. So you obviously have tents and stuff maybe, but it's not raining or anything. There is that.
Well, we are in the cave, right?
Well, I thought you were outside.
No, we're outside the cave. Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, we're right outside the mouth.
So yeah, there is that little gentle breeze every now and again that has a little bit of a chill to it, but for the most part, it is kind of warm.
Okay.
Cool.
You will need the sleeping bag if you want to really keep yourself cozy, though.
Which I have. I just was curious.
Yeah.
You guys just sleep out in the air.
Well,
Where would you sleep?
It's a long walk back.
In the ground. That is perfectly agreeable to me as well, you know.
Well, I mean, I do have a cozy little bubble that we can all reach and get into. It would at least protect us from the elements a little bit.
Describe this bubble to me.
Oh, I think Albrecht and I can make one too. It's a nice night. I didn't know if we wanted to.
I'm happy out here. It sounds cramped.
Okay, sounds good to me too.
Right. Well,
Besides, I don't know about you, but when I cast it, I can't really leave the bubble, and if you want to take a walk or anything, it's very stifling.
oh, it's one would need a wee.
And the last time I cast it, we were traveling with a bunch of civilians, and oh my goodness, if you think children are allowed in the outdoors when you put them in a bubble, I don't think my ears have recovered.
You know, Damon, I offered my services with a whole person spell. The most unruly child, but wasn't received very well.
I
mean, there's plenty of ways to knock a kid out, right?
So I
No.
Tough love. Discipline never did me any harm. What?
In unison.
Everyone all at the same time. Well, that explains everything.
That was amazing.
Shadar's like, I am a walking trauma response.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do the thing with the sort of last fifth of the bottle of wine where he shakes it around, holds it up to the fire. Takes another sip.
I suppose I should ask. I know this one's name, the delightful Mina. Who are the rest of you?
Well, you might tell us that yourself. You've seemingly appeared almost out of nowhere.
I mean, good manners do dictate that the person that
Albrecht, you
asked the
just tell him your
question
name.
would answer first, right? What are your names, dears?
Shadar Vikanis, cleric of the Raven Queen. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, and thank you for your help.
You are most welcome.
See that you are sufficiently rewarded when we return to town.
My reward is the people, but I appreciate it.
Which people?
This young child that we've managed to save.
Oh, right.
But I appreciate it.
Shadar looks over to it. Is it like
Him.
catatonic or making noise or
It's a kid.
The child is in him.
Yeah.
Not the Shadar, the child is an Shadar.
And yeah, he's just kind of like huddled up against that tree, kind of just eating some of the food that you created with your create food and water spell. And like, I mean, he's definitely like rattled, but he's silent. Like you can see it, like, but just by the look on his face that he's definitely processing everything that happened to him this past day, and he is probably going to have some nightmares for the foreseeable future.
Understandable.
Shadar considers going over and maybe cheering the child up with,
Oh boy.
the inevitable sweet release of death and the promise of the grave, but he's too involved in his own shit.
Yeah.
So he doesn't.
Understandable.
What about you, good man? In whose name do you smite with your longsword?
Well, I am Tyrion Shadowbane, the chosen right hand of the one and only Torm. I assumed if you followed us with such haste from the town that you must have had some inclination of who you were following, no?
I was just told that a group of people would run off after this creature that had taken a child. I get the notion that you guys may have came from Grenfell. Is that the name of the place? Yeah, Grendel. Sorry.
Grendel. That's close.
Sorry, my apologies. I guess.
Who was it that informed you of a business?
I was just told that the survivors were, heading towards the town and towards Fenwell. So, not Fenwell. Sorry, I'm getting all the towns mixed up. Fenlis.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in search of some people, especially one. And having seen all of you, I believe the one I was looking for is you. And he looks towards the wizard. What is your name, good man?
Albrecht Elnarin, wizard, as you have correctly identified.
I stand up. I come round to you.
Oh, Shadar stands up with this and grabs his mate.
I know it's a slow move. I'm not like standing.
Mina
up,
like puts her hand out, like in between, like you would when your dog gets real aggressive, like easy there.
It's been quite the day. It's easy
Don't
to be a little
bite.
bit-
Albrecht does have disintegrate, so like, I mean, all he has to do is go.
Oh no!
Your guns.
I haven't hit
Oh,
anyone
no,
with it yet.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
So yeah, I'll come up and I'll do the, kind of theatre bow. My good man, it is good to meet you. I believe that
likewise.
a mutual friend of ours sent me to escort you to the theatre, but unfortunately, I was unavailable.
Ah,
I think Elemis may jog your memory.
yes, I'd wondered what had become of the escort I was meant to have, and indeed, I was curious at what had become of Elemis. Have you heard from him since that business back in Grendel?
Honestly, since the whatever that was that happened back there, I haven't been able to reach him.
No, I did find his laboratory quite deserted.
I know he was heading to Pethlin, but he'd asked me to meet you and to see that you were taken care of until he returned. But things happened.
Well, I dare say you've gone above and beyond the call of duty, following me all the way here. So I'm very, very pleased to make your acquaintance.
And yours too. And I'll go and sit back down again then. So this is quite an interesting place at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, very interesting indeed. There's quite the array of things going on.
What have you made of it so far?
Well, I was trying to get to the bottom of this violent madness. I fear there may be some rather sinister actors behind it. And as for this hag problem that's cropped up, well, it seems there's much to be done in this land, and I think we're probably the people best qualified to do it.
If
Yeah, so
the armed forces of Femlis and Grendal are anything to go by, that is most a certainty.
Unfortunately so.
I'll tell you, they are well armed. They might not be very good for a fight, but their weapons and their armor will sure hold up.
I shouldn't like to think how they would have dealt with these hags. I think it would have been something of a massacre.
Yes, I think that the right people are definitely here to deal with this issue.
This is only the entrance of a much larger issue.
Yes. And it seems like it's got a little to do with our friend here, as I look at Shadar.
He's still staring into the fire. The bottle's empty now, and you can see, it's just for a second, you can see him considering just throwing it over his shoulder, and then he thinks better of it, given that, you know, he could possibly refill it somewhere. So, yeah. Puts 10 beside him.
Gets
I mean,
10% back if he hands it back in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I think Mina's still kind of drumming lightly in the background, but she's definitely having a moment of like, wow, all of these people are like so destiny bound. Like, this is a lot. Okay. Like when you realize that you're sitting around everyone else who's a main character and you're like, huh, I'm gonna keep playing my drum for the ambiance.
Warlock's gonna warlock.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a confirmation mark?
Yes.
Interesting.
You know, multi-classes, you know, they're great.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Anything else you guys would like to do before you turn in for the night?
I was going to ask Damon, how did you come to know Ilamis? You seem to be a trusted confidant of his.
But I trained with him, didn't I?
Oh,
Well, I say I trained with him. He showed me how brilliant he was, and I listened to some of it.
indeed. Oh, well, and I'm sure your skills will come in very useful if you wish to accompany us further then.
And I certainly want to get some answers. There was a lot of people back in Grendel that will surely be missed.
Yes.
If you guys are also looking for the answers, then I'm sure I could come along and we can work this out, hopefully.
If you were coming to escort Albrecht here from Grendal, assumedly,
Mm-hmm.
have you spent the last roughly 90 days outside the walls, or where have you been?
I mean, I haven't been awake, will we say, that long. I woke up after whatever had happened to the town and walking around and seeing friends and people that I'd spent time with in that situation. I spent a few days trying to, I don't know, get my thoughts together, I suppose, and then I grabbed my gear and headed straight into Femlis, as that seemed like the most obvious place. And then I arrived there and was greeted by the townsfolk going absolutely crazy, and apparently this creature had ran off with a child. and that some out-of-towners had headed that way to try and intercept. I figured if I was going to get any answers from yourselves, being that you came from Grendel as well, I'd have to come and find you.
Well, in all honesty, we before we ran blindly into the mountains, we were on our way to hopefully gain more information about Grendel. Isn't that correct, Miss Mina? You have a source.
Well, it's more a source on the madness itself, not necessarily any causes of it, but the good doctor in town believes that he's got some way to shrink us really, really, really small so that we can go into an infected person's body and retrieve some live tissue samples.
It's
was all
going
very-
to be fantastic.
It was all very confusing. But
So, you're serious about this? I thought it was one of your bardic flights of fancies and whimsical tale to lighten the mood when the little child was screaming his head off.
Oh
You
no,
thought that was
she could
lightning
never
in
come
that?
up with anything that good.
So we're actually going to do this,
how
are we?
dare you? I could totally come up with a story that good if I wanted to.
I'm sure you could.
But no, this is what the good doctor said.
Are we?
I had taken a walk the last night that we were in town and, happened upon the apothecary and had a conversation. That's why I was going to bring you guys over in the morning.
I'm not sure what good a cleric of the Raven Queen would do. Shrunk down inside someone's body. We not send someone more scientifically minded in there.
Well, I guess we need you in case we accidentally kill him and he needs last rites.
Well, I mean, would be the first time I'd given someone last rites from inside a dead body.
Isn't that exciting?
Sounds wonderful.
It's just things, Shadar. We could be pioneers. It's not an opportunity we can pass up.
Shadar looks, when you mention pioneer, he looks at the bottle of wine and looks at you and looks at the bottle of wine again and goes, never use that word around me.
I shall
don't know
keep that in mind.
This country, pioneers are people who don't drink alcohol.
Okay.
Yes, it sounds wonderful. So the mission is complete. Now are we going to slay him from the inside?
I think
Well,
the intention
we
is
want
to
try and
save him.
heal him, cure
Well,
him of this disease.
I thought we were heading inside to retrieve samples and pieces of his internal organs and that.
Well, we could probably do that from the outside. If it was
Yes,
needed.
quite good at getting organs out, I can tell you that.
Indeed you are.
Well, I think that's an excellent backup plan. I think the
Hopefully
initial
it won't come
plan
to that.
is not to kill him and to save him and everyone else afflicted by the violent
And I'd
madness.
be very interested to see if when you cast a fireball and you're very small, if that's also very small or not.
Indeed.
There's a lot of variables to be investigated.
I will, in fact, I mean, the benefits of this technique could be life-changing or world-changing. In fact,
Mina's eyebrows like twitching, just like
if we could hire Tyrion to shrink down to the similar size and travel inside my body and maybe use his paladin powers to heal my liver, it would be most appreciated.
I don't think there's anything that's going to save that liver, my dear.
Poor boy's taken an awful beating the last 10 years or so.
Yes, exactly. The possibilities are endless. And we get to be the ones who perform the initial research. It's a privilege.
Well, assuming the good word of the doctor and he hasn't enlisted someone else to do it before and we could be tripping over
been a
minuscule
day.
corpses.
It will be two, won't it? Oh, it'll be it's 1 day, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. The process alone will kill us all. It's just a risk we have to take.
Yeah, well, it's a risk. I suggest we sort of ham up a little bit around the doctor and see if we can squeeze some payment out of him. My funds are running rather low.
I think it's only fair
I'm not used
Have
to.
a little bit of hazard pay for such a
Indeed.
treacherous situation.
Agreed. Well, if
The only
that's the
good-
case, then I'm in.
The only good thing about most doctors is they have a decent array of spirits for, the disinfectant and the pain relief of patients.
I'm not quite there yet, my friend, but maybe one day.
He's not drinking alcohol straight. Yeah.
Although I do enjoy the smell of formaldehyde.
Things are getting desperate when you're drinking rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hey, look, we've all had some tight Good Fridays.
And sanitizer doesn't taste that bad.
No, it's kind of like Jello shots.
Oh,
I feel like for streams knowledge, this wasn't full when I started, so when it's empty, don't think I drank a full bottle of wine.
Okay,
Yeah,
Shadar.
that would be a Shadar level of
Not quite there yet.
imbibement.
But when you are finished it, are you going to yeet it over your shoulder?
Yunk.
Young.
Fucking drywall.
we just redid our basement too this year, so that's a no.
Under a pooper scooper.
Yeah, Shadar is he's kind of curling up into his sleeping bag now.
Okay.
at this point, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Seeing you grabbing your sleeping bag, Damon would grab his and probably take it over to the child.
Okay.
And give it to the kid to sleep in. And then I'll go and settle down using Rocket as my pillow, as I usually would, use his tail.
Shadar sort of sees that a little bit and genuinely doesn't know why you would bother doing that for a child. But anyway.
So as you guys are kind of settling down then for the night,
I'm so sad because I was gonna say, I've got this like thick blanket that I probably could give him, and then I realized it's probably with me ill because it's for him. I don't have it anymore.
So as the as you guys all settle down for the night, Shadar, can I get a wisdom saving throw from you, sir? As you have forgotten your tincture once again.
So I think there was more in his mind. Wisdom save.
Is the wine gone?
It's a 12.
Okay.
17.
Are we taking watches? Did we
Where-
figure that
where
out?
are
Or
you?
did we all fall asleep? Sorry, before
you're
Shadar.
rolling 10, yeah, okay.
Before Shadar inevitably turns in the middle of the night with his mace and kills Mina. I just want to know: are we taking watch?
Shadar's.
Yeah, Tyrion's still up. He was going to do one more thing, so he'll take a watch at least until
Okay.
his idea comes through.
Okay.
Before I shut my eyes, I'll say, wake me before the morn and I'll take the last watch.
Okay, so I can take a middle watch, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just before a wandering monster roams in.
Yeah, good call. Okay.
Nice. That doesn't make me nervous at all.
Just for you as well, Mark. Rocket doesn't sleep and he's always on
cool.
watch.
He's always on watch. Cool. That's good to know.
Overwatch.
Tyrion, can I get a D20 from you, sir?
Yeah. He was going to do a little something at the start of his
Sure.
watch. But
You go with that first, anyway.
3 on the 20. No, it was nothing too complicated. It was just when everyone else is bunking down, he'll suddenly realize the fuck is that dog gone, and he'll
I was
take
thinking about
10
Fido.
minutes just to summon back
Oh, Fido.
Fido.
Cool.
As the pounding of paws comes out of the forest, and he'll just set him up as a sentry because, just monitoring the camp.
Oh my god, that dog must give the best cuddles.
Well, it's the size of a horse, like it's a monster.
That doesn't stop.
It's
So?
When you said about dog, I thought you were talking about the one that took the kid. I was like, wait, we're not dealt with that yet.
So did I. Yeah.
officially
No, we did kill that one. Oh, Solo has just blessed Albrecht.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and I don't know if
I shall put it to
Dave
good
saw it,
use.
but Shadar got one earlier on as well. It was like really early in the stream. I think Cara gave it to him.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
Okay.
So Tyrion, with that 3 on the D20, can I get a D100 from you now, sir?
Ay, 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 ay.
39. Do-do-do-do. Can I get a Constitution save from you as you start to nod off a little bit?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're fine. Initially you're just like, "Whoop, no," and you kind of just you kind of stand up, kind of, ring out your shoulders a bit and take a brief walk and around the camp to kind of wake you up a little bit, and you take a deep breath in of that cool air. But yeah, no, you're fine. The rest of the watch goes relatively grand. So, this will bring us to the middle. So like the
I guess I'll take the middle one.
Yeah,
because Damon mentioned taking the last one.
Shadar's happy for someone to wake him up, by the way, for a watch. It's no problem at all.
Well, for you, Shadar, this is kind of like in the dead of night. With that 17, you do get like a full long rest and stuff, but the events of the last couple of days are just playing on your mind subconsciously as well as consciously.
What was it, 12, wasn't it?
No, but with Tyrion's +5, it was 17. You do a fair amount of tossing and turning, a few mumbles in your sleep, but other than that, you're okay.
I think when it's roughly time for his watch, that might wake him up.
That means if you guys sleep together every night, you're gonna have a lot less nightmares. Just saying. Just cuddle up to your nearby paladin.
It's like a big old nightlight.
Yeah, Shadar will wake up after.
It's a safety blanket.
After that, yeah.
Yes.
And he'll just kind of stand up a little bit, and the sleeping bag will kind of fall away from him. He'll probably take a walk for a minute. Probably a sheen of sweat in his forehead.
Okay. So, Mina, did you wake also, or are you just gonna sleep instead?
If no one wakes me up, I'm gonna sleep.
Okay, cool. So Shadar, I might take a D20 for you then for your watch.
12.
Yep, nope, nothing at all happens. It's grand and quiet during your shift.
Cool, he'll do
The music disagrees.
Yes.
It's all quiet.
Do the rounds, I think.
Okay, yeah. And you see kind of Rocket's eyes just kind of following you every now and again, and same with Fido. It's just his head is following in everywhere you like. He's keeping an eye out for you. It's not like a surveillance camera type. Well, it is, but it's not in a menacing way. It's more of a.
See a red light above his eyebrow.
Yeah.
He'll investigate this creature and just see if we can tell what it is.
Roll a survival check, nature check, whichever you just.
I'll take survival because I +1 that. That's a natural 1.
This is
what a pretty dog.
With a. This is like a wolf with a humanoid like face with 2 tusks coming out from the lower jaw. Shadar seems to think it looks cool, but I would argue that it's fucking hideous.
Yeah.
This is what Mina screamed about, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Shadar will he look over his shoulder and see make sure everyone's asleep. And then he'll grab it by the upper jaw and the lower jaw, and he'll go. Sulame, it's me, and he's speaking into it, but he's like, he's not really at the races today. He says, "Tell my sisters I'm coming for them. You hear that? You hear that, bitches?" And he'll just set it down again and walk off. He's not really with it today. He'll go over and investigate this thing and see if there's any orders or any letters of instruction or commands or anything on it.
No, it's just a big old ogre, and he's not wearing any like particular like cloth. Thank God he's wearing a loincloth, I'll say that. But other than that, he doesn't have like any clothing that contains like pouches to hold, like, I'm pretty sure if there was orders on it, this dude probably couldn't even read anyway. So
he gives it a kick in the head and walks off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like a heavy thud against your boot. This thing had a very
he's bare feet.
jeez. Yeah. Probably even like
Wait, you're walking around barefoot?
Yeah. He likes to
Fuck.
feel the ground on his feet. So
Reminds me of my grave.
hitting the cold head of this dead ogre. It was kind of more like, stubbing your toe off the edge of the bed kind of thing. But obviously that's just for to tell you that his skull was fairly thick. But you're not going to. Okay. Although sometimes I feel like when I do stub my toe, I feel like I have taken at least a D4 point of damage.
Absolutely.
So that is your shift. If there's anything else you'd like to do, or
he'll. I don't know if Mina left the drum out.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, look at it. Investigate it.
What are you doing to my drum? That's my drum.
Just he just
checking it out.
Yeah,
having a look.
His investigation is pretty shit, so don't worry about it. I mean, that's an 18.
What do you tell him about the drum?
Can you then roll me a nature check?
Wow. Okay, because I was not expecting. This is just literally like he's kind of bored.
He rolled an 18.
Oh my god. Here we go. And if I have a blast, I'm gonna use this. Shit. I do have inspiration that I'm gonna burn.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll it again because this seems important.
It's just a drum.
I'm just waiting in for B to, you can identify what kind of wood it's made out of or something.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Look, the dice. The dice decide when we're supposed to learn things or not, so that's fine.
Sure, remain a mystery.
Yeah.
Good. Woo.
Pick up the drum, and you're just kind of like, just kind of and you kind of spin it around a little bit as well, and you're just kind of, boom, boom, very lightly, not to wake anyone. It's different. You've seen drums before, obviously. You've been to taverns. You've been to, you've seen bands. You don't spend a lot of time like perusing musical instruments or whatever, but I don't know, like it's maybe the design, the craftsmanship, it's different to a drum. Like this seems to be a fairly personalized drum for sure.
Okay.
It smells like horse leather.
Oh, wow. Yeah, cool. Are there any kind of magical symbols on it with that 18 investigation?
No, more.
Well,
actually, I was just gonna say it's more like just.
It's more like tribal, but it could look runic.
But not any kind of like spell circly type or glyph things.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Grant, so Shadar's going to examine it closely, and familiarize himself with it, so that if he ever needs to, he can cast locate object.
Okay.
And find Mina if she goes missing.
Aww.
Very nice, very nice.
What a cutie.
That's all he'll do.
All right. I believe Damon was the last shift then.
I was worried about that for a second. I used all my luck points to.
Why? Why would you be worried? It's just
indeed.
Right? Cool. So, Damon, I might get a D20 from you as well, sir. When it is your turn to take watch.
So does Shadar wake me?
I was muted. Yeah, he'll pop over to you and he'll walk over and go.
Shake him by the horns.
Oh no!
Oh, it's Damon. Sorry, yeah. He walks over to Damon and he goes, "Damon, quickly!" And he'll shake him awake.
So as I wake and I hear this, my tail just whips around your arm, and I grab you. What's going on?
You watch.
Oh, for goodness sake, man!
What?
Why would you wake someone like that just to tell them it's their time to watch?
We're warriors in the wilderness, Damon. You need to be able to react on a moment's notice.
And I did, but
you tried to hug me with your tail.
I mean, trust me, that wasn't a hug. If you want a hug, then that's something completely different, my dear. But yes, okay, I'm awake. Thank you, Shadar.
Do you have any wine?
I do not. I'm not really one for the grape.
And Shadar will climb back into a sleeping bag. Throw another look at Mina's drum and then go to sleep.
Okay. Damon, can I get a D20 from you, please?
You can indeed.
14. Yep. Nope. Nothing happens. It is a quiet. You just sit with Rocket and Fido, and you watch the sun come up over the horizon.
Okay, cool. And so I'm just going to kind of be sitting there with Rocket, just tightening up anything that may be loose on him, making sure he's kind of put together and clean, mend him up a little bit if he needs it, because he hasn't really been doing too much, but just general wear and tear and stuff, just making sure he's cool. And I'll take out my book from my bag, and I'll just start looking through my my book that I have. Just making sure everything's noted in and out the way properly. And then when it comes time, I slowly start to wake everyone up.
Slowly.
Yeah, slowly, because I'm not an asshole.
Some of us have manners.
Yeah, exactly.
Shadar wakes up. Is there any? He's gonna take his armor with him, and he's gonna walk back into the cave towards where the water was. And he's going to bathe because
Shadar, the water's down here.
yeah, he's going to go the long way because he also wants to see if he can find any trace of those ravens that that were mentioned on the note. So he's going to have a wander around because he believes if they keep ravens and they are homing animals, that they may know the way to whoever's in charge here. So he'll be here, and he's stripped off to the waist, and he's washing himself because he's very kind of fastidious about that.
Can I get let me see, an investigation check then if you're looking for
Yeah, he's listening as well for the sounds of ravens as well. So I don't know if I could use perception.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you. That's way better. 23.
Nice.
Oh yeah. You do hear something back in this direction. It is the very faint kind of. Well, it echoes a little bit, but you do hear that chirping or cawing, and in these kind of little wardrobes here, there is like they're not wardrobes, they're like a wooden kind of coop, I suppose. And if that is the right word to use, I don't know. But you can definitely.
Solo says, "Sorry, ladies, I can't show the bath scene on stream."
All right, I was wondering. I was like, did I just say something funny?
You're great, but
it is called a coop, right? All right, yeah, and inside this little coop, you see one raven, but amidst like several like perches and a lot of like black feathers. You can take that to mean that there was more, but there's only one left.
There's only one left. Wow. Okay. Well, Shadar, he'll approach it, and well, my friend, what a beauty you are. How are we today? Does it look hungry?
Yeah, it would do actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll pull out some bits of dried meat, and he'll just kind of bite them off into little small bits and just pass them through.
Okay, yeah. Very kind of like flops down off its perch down to the bottom of the coop and just starts pecking away. Kind of savagely, kind of just like shaking bits of meat off and going everywhere.
Yeah, well, he'll let it eat until it seems happy. I mean, given that he's of the Raven Queen, that doesn't mean he can necessarily speak with ravens, unfortunately, as much as he would love it. But let me see what spells he has. Wondering. Okay, so I don't think he has speak with animals. No, he wouldn't. Okay. Well, he will. Again, he'll take this bird out, and he'll walk. But now he still hasn't. His arm is still by the river. And he'll walk back out.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, no, he would have completed his bathing and he would have put his armor back on. He's not going to walk out with his neck, without a scarf around his neck. So he'll walk back out with the raven.
While all that's happening, I imagine Mina's like, oh, this is early. Well, I'm gonna save my bathing for when I'm back at town. But if you gents want to, I promise I won't look.
Not a bad idea. I mean, I didn't exactly get much chance to settle in before I was rushing off after you guys. Sure. I'm going to head off.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been traveling a fair bit, haven't we? I think Alfred will do the same. Freshen up a little bit.
Mina won't peek.
With the aid of some prestidigitation as well.
Okay.
Damon goes down to the water side, just completely strips off and then jumps in.
Cannonball.
Figures.
Look more like a slow walk, wading in kind of thing.
And let me just say that is pretty goth, like bathing in a pond surrounded by bones and skulls.
Water's clean for the most part.
Well, the water is clean. Just the environment is not relaxing. Let's say.
This is how Shadar prefers to bathe. They're like his, how people have like crystals and stuff. Shadar has.
And but he just has like kind of like instead of rubber ducks, he's like rubber little skulls that float around. And he'll make his way back out, and he goes, "Well, my friends, something struck me when I read this letter."
Are you so? Damon's the only one who went to take a bath, right? So the rest of us are at the fire, or did Alfred go too?
I wouldn't have gone for a full bath, just some basic cleaning.
Okay.
So it probably wouldn't have taken very long. So I may well be back by now.
I had a reread of that letter, that book. It says, where is it? I figured, doesn't it say send a raven somewhere?
Send a raven to me when the outbreak looks to transcend the dukedom borders.
Since the beginning of this play, yeah. Keep an eye on the spread of this disease throughout the Fenwell dukedom and send a raven to me when the outbreak looks to transcend the dukedom borders. So Shadar will read that out. Shagar. That's for when
Shagar.
That's for later on. That's for the X-rated stream.
Everyone
promise?
The chat and the characters
We
are
haven't
all
asked-
on today. What's going on?
So he will say, "My friends, something struck me when I read this letter. It mentioned a raven. I did some investigating in there and found there's one remaining raven, presumably with a destination in mind.
Oh,
I mean, we could attach a note to its leg, or we could just let it return home. However, home is with no note, but I can cast locate creature. We might learn the location of whoever seems to be pulling the strings."
Oh, the lady Esmeralda, was she?
Indeed. And Mark,
be
I
an
don't
advantage to know where she is, but at the same time, it may warn her that we're coming.
Would you recommend?
Don't take this as disapproval. This is just the question. Do you intend to fight the lady Esmeralda at some point? Is this kind of where you think your holy missions are?
I intend to
Taking
extract her bones from her body one by one
She may be a
and
ghost.
use them as a cage to imprison her flesh until she passes away.
That's,
That's That's very graphic.
Very specific.
Well, this was once known as a blood eagle, I believe, in certain...
Well, that is another
A blood raven in this case, huh?
blood raven, indeed. But either way,
And
I
do you?
suspect this Esmeralda way may be coming for me at some point, and that means she may be coming for you all. So, my friends, a choice needs to be made.
I think it's a good plan. I think you ought to send the Raven.
I mean, if we included a note, it would most likely give away our plans and
No.
the fact that we were aware of what's transpired here. So if we just act like the Raven escaped or something, I don't know.
I'm sure this lady will find out sooner or later that her apprentices have been slain, in which case she will surely suspect that the perpetrators will be coming for the rest of her
Yes.
acolytes sooner or later. So we may as well gain some intelligence ourselves.
Alfred, perhaps you may have more experience with magics, but I once traveled with a person who had the ability to magically look at a person or object. I believe they called it scrying.
Yes, it's certainly possible. It's
If we
something
were to
of a
take-
specialism, but
If we were to take one of this raven's feathers, could we use that if we found someone with the ability?
I do believe we could. That's a very good idea.
Just a thought, if
Yes.
no note, but if it flies home, we could
I'm
see
sure
where.
there's somebody within the dukedom who will be able to perform such a feat.
I have access to this spell.
Oh,
The
wonderful.
Raven Queen grants me this power. I can also scry upon the location of this bird. The other spell I was referencing was slightly less powerful, and also consumes less of my energy in the day. But I can cast either of those.
It could be convenient if we are close and just need to dial it in directly.
Indeed.
Would they know if you cast this spell on them? Could they?
I've never met this woman. Well, actually, you would have seen her call around, wouldn't he? I don't know if Shadar ever got her name, so I don't think he would know
Might not make the link,
if
yeah.
Esmeralda is the same person from his past. I mean, he can suspect, but he definitely wouldn't know for sure, as far as I can tell. But I'm just looking at my spells here, and I definitely will. He won't take scrying just yet, but he will take look at creature. Get rid of speak with dead, I think. So, what do you think, my friend?
We wish to do
I
that
think it's a
today.
good plan.
We can. I mean, this bird may have to fly for several days or weeks.
Yes.
So,
Is there?
I've
I
prepared.
just
the spell
seem to
anyway.
wonder: is there any? May sound a little strange. Is there any information we can extract from the bird? Perhaps it may have witnessed conversations or things that we may be able to use to our advantage.
I
I mean, if we were to kill it, I could speak with it.
Does upon its death, does the creature learn a language of the region?
I don't know. I could try. I've never attempted to speak with a dead animal.
I had an uncle once who attempted to talk to a cow, but it didn't end very well. He got kicked in the head.
Really?
We don't discuss him much.
Well, you brought it up, but all right.
I mean, compared to the great grandfather story, I can see why that's not the one that's brought up.
Yeah.
Yes, I take it we don't have to find any pieces of his armor.
So about that, Shadowbane is not your last name. It's like a title.
Is this Andy asking me or me asking Tyrion?
I think Mina asking, because you had
Right.
mentioned that you had forsaken like your name so that the shadows don't follow you home in that tomb. Something like that, right? Like this is Andy talking, but I'm trying to remember. I think you had mentioned something about since the shadow followed your great grandfather home, that your family like forsakes their family name until they're done with whatever, and then they take it back so that the demons don't follow you home. So Mina's asking about that a little bit.
Shadar's not there for this.
Well, no, it's not my family name. No, Shadowbane was a title given to me by the Order upon the taking of my oath. I was sent out on a mission, and when I returned, there was a title given to me as a, I believe the term they use for this is an alias.
Oh, sure. I know all about aliases. I was just wondering if it's like if you did a bunch of things, would you graduate from Shadow's Bane to something else, or is Shadowbane just like Tyrion's name?
No, that is specifically mine. The cleric who named me was a particularly gruesome encounter, and on my return, barely alive, he said, people are afraid of the things that go bump into the night, Sir Tyrion, but the things that go bump in the night are afraid of you, Sir Shadowbane.
Ah.
Well, that is how the moniker became mine.
Well, it's a cool name. Just I was just curious.
There definitely was. As you
Names have
saw
power.
in the tomb, my grandfather, Pembroke, or great-grandfather, Pembroke the Potent, and his friends or his colleagues, Ironis the Kind, Dromar the Unyielding, Fainal the Broken, and Wellum the Devout, of course.
The Broken, that would be a terrible name.
Well, it all depends on why he was broken.
Is there a good reason to be broken?
There can be. I know there are certain oaths that my paladin brethren take at a young age and then break for due reason. There is an oath not often spoken about of conquest, which is generally taken under the orders of a king for an army regiment, and when
Sure. It's just something the broken invokes the idea of like a broken person and not like an oath breaker or anyway.
Well, who knows? Perhaps when he took his oath, he was hit by a dragon and had snapped his spine. The cleric who inaugurated him decided you are now the broken.
Maybe his break is what gave him his freedom.
Exactly. Without knowing him, I couldn't currently ask him, but perhaps if we find his remains, that could be one of the questions Shadar could so kindly ask of him.
What? He's back.
We were just talking about broken people.
I see. Well, shall I release this wonderful little creature? Or anyone else like to? Does anyone else have access to this spell or spells like it? Maybe you'd like to familiarize yourself with this.
I would suggest maybe
Lovely lady.
Bring it with you. Maybe if someone back in town would
Yes.
be able to oblige.
Well, I have access to these spells. I'm just wondering if anyone else.
Oh no,
Yes,
carry on then.
Very
Tyrion
well.
will take one feather
Just-
off it.
Is this
Okay.
an individual thing? Should you like me telling your order about it? In case they want to do anything.
That would involve. Maybe not. They.
Generally takes weeks of travel to return back to the temples.
Well, I mean, I could.
I was just saying
cast
the-
a spell, but it's just.
You gentlemen are all wonderfully powerful. It's just there were 3 ghouls in there, and we had a difficult time. And if there's the Dara sisters and your sisters and the Lady Esmeralda, that's like 7. So
7 sisters.
Well, at least we know we're going up against hags in the future, so we can make necessary preparations.
Yes.
Their magics are foul, but perhaps we'll be able to work on ways of counteracting them.
Look, I mean, I suggest we continue to investigate the threat of this violent madness, as you've aptly named it, Mina, and should these issues raise their heads again, we chop them off.
I do have one idea.
May even be linked for all we know.
Indeed. Well, I look back at the letter, and it seems Esmeralda is not very impressed by this, and slightly worried that if it leaves the borders, that they'll lose access to the folk that they consume for sustenance.
Vaulting.
Let me try one thing, would you?
With what?
With my hands.
With my bird?
Is that what you
I've never heard it called that before, but yes.
I mean, you need to be more specific, Damon. I'm holding a beautiful raven. Yeah, in my hand.
My apologies. I do mean your glorious bird here.
Very well.
So I'll put my hands either side of his head, and using my helm, which the guys wouldn't see because it's not a verbal or somatic thing, I'm just going to say to the bird, "Where is your master?"
And so is this speak with animals, or is this detect thoughts, or what is it? Sorry.
This is the detect thoughts. Now, I know it's not going to have a language that I know, but whether it gives me an idea of a place.
Yeah, like an image or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or even an image of the master, if I'm asking it about its master. Because I know crows are smart creatures,
yeah.
Right?
So, sorry, remind me, what did you ask it?
Where is your master?
Over there and over there and over there.
Yeah, I'm fully aware that it might just say in the cave, but like...
Yeah, I just need to see if I can articulate this properly, because I've never thought like a raven before.
Mark, I think the answer you're looking for is cacaw.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it would be a whole bunch of cacaws.
You took it, the
So
Like I said, more than language thought, I was looking to see if there was picture thought.
One moment, please. I'm going to see if our little raven here can pass the wisdom saving throw.
Well, that's only if I delve deeper. I'm just doing surface thoughts
yeah.
for a
Don't you remember?
second.
Because I
Sorry,
got that 20 and it didn't matter.
Yeah, sorry. So the raven it has mimicry, so it can mimic simple sounds that it's heard.
Mm-hmm.
Such as a person whispering, baby crying, animal chattering.
Name of a town.
She is right here. follow these detailed directions. No.
1, 2, 3, Freight Street.
Looks over.
What you do here is, it's like a hollow kind of clunking noise. Like this is something it would have heard, but obviously wouldn't be able to mimic it perfectly. But this is in its like memory. If he like, you know those like chimes in windows, like when the wind blows, it hits different like little things. It's like that, but with bones. It's like the chiming of like like a rock off bones kind of thing. That's what it reminds you of. And that is, when you ask that question, that is what you hear.
So kind of like a bone xylophone.
Kind of more like a bone wind chime, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that's all. There's like no other like animal signifiers. It's that. That's the exact sound I hear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and dig deeper.
You're okay. Yeah. So you're when you ask the question, you're hearing a memory as opposed to it telling you this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, as I dig deeper, I'll then ask the bird. I'll be like, "What else do you hear?" And then I'm trying to probe deeper. So it's a saving throw of DC 13.
Wisdom.
Yes, I believe so.
Boy.
It's going to get a 12.
Okay, so I go deeper into its mind.
So what else do you hear? So you kind of like you're close your eyes and you kind of zone out for a moment, and you can you see things or just oh, it's just telepathy, so you just hear things. So you hear the sound of like something bubbling. You hear the sound of very heavy footsteps. You also hear the sound of like this very raspy, this raspy kind of laughter. But you also hear a very, very soothing voice. It's a feminine voice, very, very soothing voice, and says, "Here you are, my pretty. You go to Femless, and I will see you again very soon." And those are the sounds you hear.
So as I come back out, I'm just like, oh, that is definitely not good.
What is not good?
Whoever the master is of this bird, they're sending another to Femless.
Another bird? Or another trio of
Is that
hags?
not the bird's memory of it being sent here?
That was the memories.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Cool.
This was sent from this creature.
Yes.
I couldn't find out location, but I certainly wouldn't forget that voice again if I were to hear it.
How did you determine this, Damon?
Well, I tapped into its mind. I triggered its thoughts. I read its thoughts.
Wait, you can read people's minds?
What?
I mean, I have to choose to do it. It's not a passive thing.
Some people would consider that an invasion of privacy.
Some people would consider being turned into mushrooms an invasion of life.
Are folk aware of when you do this, David?
Not that I believe so, but it's not like I do it to anyone and everyone.
You
didn't do it to any of us,
Have you been reading any of our thoughts?
No.
Inside check!
Wilfred, or Damon, I'll need a deception check from you, sir.
Am I get in on this as well?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, anyone who is wants to roll insight against this.
20
I love a guy.
Oh.
I'm gonna wait until they've done their insights first. Is that
if anyone wants to give inspiration to Damon, now is the time.
Shadar has a 20 and I have a 23. Oh man.
I didn't think.
Oh man.
All of you, as you asked Damon this.
Were we just? Did anyone give him inspiration, or are we? No,
I didn't see it there.
Cool. All right. Excellent.
Cool.
So
good. I'm glad the audience have a moral compass.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Solo to chime in there because.
Well, the way my rolls are, it wouldn't matter anyway.
Mark, would I recognize the helm of telepathy by any chance?
So yeah, we'll apply this here. So as you three asked Damon, have you used it on any of us? And Damon's like, of course not. And he kind of like glances at Shadar, kind of, kind of gives him that kind of last second kind of look, and the three of you kind of pick up on that. So Albrecht, yeah, if you're looking at that that helm, if you want to roll an Arcana check.
Sure. $19.
You can tell it's magical. With that, you wouldn't know what it does. You'd need like an identify spell or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you can tell that this thing is magical. You're well adept with magic enough to know that some of the symbols like in the etchings on the helmet and stuff like that are
sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're all standing because we're all kind of still in the position that we were for like sleeping for the most part.
I feel like we're sort of stood in a semicircle.
Yeah, we're kind of all
yeah.
Looking quite accusing.
I was still opposite a bird, so.
But Mina definitely is like, you have. and I don't know if she's necessarily stepping behind anyone, but she's definitely taking like half a step back.
And Damon, does this ability come naturally to you, or is it anything to do with that magical helm that you're wearing?
Well, it's my ability, but it is focused through my helm, yes. And I will be honest, yes, there has been a couple of you of which I have looked at, but I promise it was nothing more than to make sure your intentions were good. It wasn't, I never looked to see of any negative behavior and stuff, if that makes sense.
Damon, if you are to invade, if you should happen to invade my mind without my permission, and I find out about it, I'm afraid I should have to disintegrate that helm of yours.
I'm going to have to disintegrate you.
That's what I thought was coming.
Well, that'd be going a bit far.
He didn't say if he's going to be wearing the helm when he did it, did he?
First of all, I will say to you, Albrecht, I would not do it, knowing you now, without asking your permission. And secondly, I would just make another, so it's fine. But
well, you are a student of Elemis, and he is a good judge of character, so I should take your word for it.
I appreciate that, and I
Mina's
also appreciate, Satyrian, you not directly striking me down straight away.
Oh, let any man have his day in court.
Mina will now get into the habit of whenever she's talking to Damon, she's going to think in her head, if you're in my head, get out. If you're in my head, get out. If you're in my head, get out. Just so that next time you do it and I bring that up, it's not like, oh, you didn't say that before.
Same with Shadar. If Damon's speaking to him, all Shadar's going to get is ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ting, tang.
I'm really disappointed it wasn't Kiss from a Rose, but you know.
You
got to change the lyrics a little bit. So it's Kiss from a Rose on the grave.
But
that's
far as
Shadar's jam.
As far as this bird goes, this is kind of the sound that I was hearing. And I'm going to use thaumaturgy to mimic the sounds that I could hear.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'll cast it over and over again just to give them each of the different sounds that I heard.
Is the voice familiar to Shadar?
Can you roll a history check? I was just going to ask you.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Not only is the voice
Oh.
familiar, it is indeed familiar, yeah.
Wow.
But that bone wind chime sound, just again, it gives you that feeling of you're down in that crypt again, and you hear that banging on the door, because back in the day, when there were certain kind of reanimated things, you heard a similar clanking of bones.
Through the door, but I wouldn't have seen anything.
No.
Now, I do know that they used some sort of earth elemental to bash the door down. That's nothing to do with that.
No.
Okay.
You didn't
so when the door was smashed down, you would have heard those noises from out and around.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But you recognize the voice as well, yeah.
And that's the woman that would call around on occasion and demanded that the sisters be educated privately by her. Okay, cool.
Actually, just to check, did I recognize the voice? Mark?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I would have either, so.
No.
So...
Baptized in puss as if the crypt is a rockin', don't come a knocking.
So, again, my friends, apologies if you feel what I did was wrong. It should not happen again. But I trust that you believe that I was just making sure that you were okay. To me, I mean.
Yes, well, I can see why you might want to be assured of that going into such a strange place, especially with illusions and other deceptions at work. So, I can see why you might have done so. I might well have done the same thing.
I appreciate it.
Shadar's not going to answer that at the moment.
And it could come in useful on our quest.
Yeah, Mina's definitely not going to say anything.
Shadar will sort of change the subject and go, well, my
So
friend,
what are we
should
doing with
release
the bird?
Release this thing. That's what I was going to ask. Shall we
Yes.
release it to her?
Yes, let's do it.
I was thinking we could give it a name before we let it go.
Oh, you're the
Anyone
expert
in-
on ravens. You
I
might be
was-
able to think of something suitable.
How about-
I was thinking Polly.
Reina.
Raina. Very well. Very good. Its name is now Raina. Well, Raina, fly. Use those beautiful black wings of yours. Carry you swiftly across the country. Seek out the one you call master.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
yeah, let her
just straight off into the sky, and you kind of watch it go until it goes out of sight.
Well, Sir Tyrion, do you think the wind will be at our backs today? On our journey back to town.
Well, the weather seems to be holding nicely.
Indeed.
I believe the only reason we would be slow returning to town is the small legs of the child, so I shall put him on the back of the dog and we can make haste.
Yes. Can you gag it as well?
The dog or
No, the exasperating child.
We're not gagging a child.
Oh, right. Very well.
No.
Just as the incessant whining. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
I do have this white horse around the corner if we need it.
What?
What?
No, I'm joking. That was Brian.
Miss Schauberger says, no, kill the child.
I'm not drink.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Tyrion just
Very
put him on the
well.
back of the mastiff and
Let's make
prepare
our
to
way.
make.
All right, I'll bring you guys back to Femless. You're traveling for a couple of hours, but you know you're not in a rush this time. So
I will ask. I fear for the child, but I will ask anyway. I imagine at some point during the walk, I'm gonna say, I wonder if there's a reason the beast picked that child, or if that child was just the easiest child. Like, was it just in the middle of the street and got nabbed, or?
You're just saying this to all of us?
Because Annie targeted that one girl, right? The one you threatened, their mother.
Yennefer.
Yes, I wonder if this is also if this child was picked, or if there's a specific reason, or just happenstance. I don't really want to ask the child. The child seems traumatized, but just wondering.
Well, maybe we can ask his parents once we return. If they have any link to.
Right, I don't think the child did anything. I'm just wondering if it was
Hmm.
selected like Yennefer was.
So you guys knew this was going to happen?
No, well, no. But Shadar and Tyrion did get threatened to dig their own graves.
I should imagine that would be quite fun for that one.
Yeah,
He's already
actually,
done it by all accounts.
He invited me to go see his
Yes,
grave.
I have. So there's like an insane passive perception. So he's not far away. I'm sure
Yeah.
Read.
I'm starting to think maybe I have chosen the wrong group.
Well,
That makes me feel better that you're questioning it also.
there's the door, my friend, if you wish to leave.
There's no door.
We're in a field. I'm sure there's no door.
I can arrange from a doorway from one place to another in a very final way,
Don't
my
kill
friend.
him. That's not what he's asking.
It was a metaphor.
Was it?
Yes, like the doorway to the void.
Indeed. Sounds like a wonderful place.
You're smiling way too wide for me to believe you.
Well, if
sorry.
you find this too uncomfortable to be around, my friend, you know, there are other parties you can latch onto.
You really do get used to it after a few days.
Maybe a little longer than a few days.
We'll see how you go.
Shadar chooses to fail the insight check to realize what they're referring to.
I don't think there's any insight check needed.
No. Yeah. Well, he still acts like he's failed one.
Wink,
But
wink,
yeah,
nudge, nudge.
That's the only thing Mina would have brought up on the way. Just kind of questioning if there's some reason that it's that child specifically. Not to victim blame, like chat says.
Just thinking out loud.
Just to wonder.
Mina, you raise an interesting question. Maybe we should interrogate the child.
Interrogate is a strong word.
Well, sensitively interrogate the child in a sensitive
Ask.
manner.
We could ask the child.
Maybe just the one thumb screw.
The what?
May I ask, as you seem to know a little bit more of the information than I would at this point, did there seem to be a pattern for the children? Like a particular look or age or anything of the like?
Well, Tyrion did talk to Yennefer.
Yes, she was leaving particular marks outside bedrooms to denote which children to take. We couldn't really determine the children as we had not seen them. We are not locals here. We could not know.
Maybe it would be very easy to figure out where this child lives and see if such a mark is on its home. And then we will know if that's the reason it was taken.
And tell me, Shadar, did you send this child causing these issues to the afterlife?
It gave me no reason to. I mean...
But this innocent child that has been captured might.
Well, if this... I mean, fortunately, we no longer live in an age where heretic children are burned at the stake. But I'm sure it would probably be maybe seconded to an institution of some sort, maybe in the more civilized areas of town. But anyway.
With any luck, the poor child is now no longer tormented by a coven of hags. She may go back to her life as normal.
Yes, we should certainly hope so.
Well, I will be informing certain people of the incident so that they will be checking in from time to time to ensure that she has not been...
Maybe we should advise the mother.
to leave town.
Well, know that the child is now vulnerable to the tendrils of darkness to me.
Yes.
It has allowed it to creep in and become a
Could
servant
stop
of the
by.
dark.
We could stop by there and check in at the tavern, see if Christina's around, and then head to the clinic.
Tavern sounds good to me, Mina. You read my mind.
Yes, I think we could do with a modicum of comfort after the affairs of the last couple of days.
Where is the whelp?
Oh yeah, I just didn't have his token there, but
Okay,
he's still
right.
with you as you come into town.
Yeah. Very well. Let's bring it to the guards' barracks, and
The
and
parents
she's,
to collect it.
Yes.
The guard who's there with you can certainly do that, or the guard would be local to town and offers to take the child directly home.
Oh yeah, Shadar will go straight to the guard and go, well, my friend, a day or more travel running full tilt through the mountains, battled hags, hideous ogres, and all sorts of nightmarish creatures. They have returned this child to you. Small matter about payments.
Mina's almost proud that Shadar referred to it as a child and not as a kid. Like, I feel like the
Fetch
whole
the
way
mayor.
there, she's been correcting it with him. Like, Shadar's not it, it's a him. Him. So now Shadar said child, and she's like, yes. Progress.
So yes, our good friend, the guard, is going to take the boy by the hand, and he'll say, "I will have a word with the captain of the guard, and he will speak directly with the mayor and will sure to compensate you for the services you've done for our humble town this day.
The finest,
Excellent.
the cracked goblet. Any sign of the
Oh, the cracked goblet.
any sign of the one that buzzes a lot? He's referring to Christina.
Oh, I know, yeah, but sure,
Yeah.
he's been gone with you, so he wouldn't have a clue.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. That was
So-
I thought you Shadar was talking to a guard.
Oh no, no,
That
he's
was
you're
back in the
talking.
town.
No, you're talking to the guard that.
Yeah,
traveled.
this
Came
is
with
our-
us. Cool,
our
cool,
boy.
Yeah, grand.
Yeah, your boy.
Cool, grand.
That I forget
No worries.
whose name I gave to him. So he's now your boy.
Gary Guard.
Who is the master of this town anyway?
Oh yes, well, he's a. Whoa, I dropped his name. Where is it? 2 seconds. Boop. This page. Do this all the time. Oh yes, that would be Therese. He's quite a jovial young man. Took over there maybe as townmaster in the last year or so, when our previous townmaster, his father, passed away. But yes, he will. He's quite well liked around this town. Well, anyone who does make a bid to provide services, be it protection or any outstanding tasks that the town might put forward to traveling adventurers, he's quite happy to reward them. So fear not, I'm sure he will, given these trying times when much of our silver and gold is spent on treating the sick, he will still certainly pay for the services here today. You've saved a young child, and you've quelled an evil that was looming over this town unbeknownst to the residents.
Good job all around.
Oh, team.
Yes, we did a good job, didn't we?
I believe that's what the youngsters say. Well, Sarah's going for the crack goblet, so
Okay. I'll drag you guys over there unless anyone wants to go.
Yeah,
somewhere else.
I'll head over as well.
I'm going to go to the general goods on the way.
General
Okay.
goods.
Yeah.
I think once I get there, Albrecht is going to make some notes in one of his books about the kind of, particularly the strange, maybe runes and symbols that are around in the hag's lair. Perhaps for some further reference and study.
So you're going to do which? Sorry.
Just make some notes in his
Oh,
book.
okay. Sorry. Yeah. And then you're heading to Craig's General Goods.
I am.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Damon is. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Alfred, you're. Sorry, I got mixed up there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no worries.
Alfred, you're taking your notes. The guys are heading to the Cracked Goblet, and Damon, I'll start with you then in the General Goods.
Yeah, so I'm going to head in and... Good day, good man. I'm looking to grab a few items if you may have them.
Oh yes, indeed. Well, what can I get for you, young man?
First of all, I would like some tea herbs if you would have them. I did miss my morning cuppa this morning.
I do certainly have some of that in stock. Which, what kind of flavored leaves would you like?
Oh, something mild. Something to awaken the senses but not destroy them.
Chamomile,
right.
Chamomile it is.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and he'll put a little, well, it's not a small sachet, but a sizable one, enough to last you maybe if you have tea every day, it'll last you a solid week.
Okay.
And yeah, he'll throw that onto the counter for you, and I'll say anything else I can get for you, sir.
Yes, I'm looking to see if well, actually, I'm looking to see if you'd have something that would be suitable for lubrication and stuff. Maybe this wouldn't be the best place to
Hey.
be. Is there a Smith's in town, maybe?
Yes, sir. If you wanted to head down to the Heavy Hammer, I'm sure they might have what you're looking for there.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, that actually sounds more reasonable then. And do you do things in the way of magical items here?
Oh, no, sir, I'm afraid not. Really dealing the everyday needs to the villagers around this place. We don't get many, don't get much requirement for magical goods. Not in a humble little town like this. If you were to procure magical items in arcane shops, I'd be hitting the bigger towns like Pethlin or Hepley, or, well, I would have said Grendel, but Grendel's not around no more.
Yes, I'll take them other towns into consideration. Thank you. I'll just take the tea for now then. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, he's only going to ask you for, 4 copper for that.
Perfect. I'll give him that then.
Yep. Expensive chamomile tea, 4 gold.
Actually, can I say I'd take 2 lots of it instead?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks worth of tea now.
Perfect. Cool. And then I'll head to the bar then, I
understand
guess.
those needs. I like a good cup of tea myself.
You need something to, brighten the morning sometimes.
Absolutely. Okay. So you said you were going to head to the Smith then?
No, I'm going to head back to the tavern. I'll
Oh,
do the
cool.
Smith another time.
Cool.
So who went straight to the tavern?
I did.
Shadar.
Oh, so
Tyrion.
most of us did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First thing I do when I walk in is I'm gonna ask is it the same kind of barkeep as always?
Dragonborn.
Yep. Do you want me to drag you guys over there?
Sure.
I figured everyone was there, so.
Might as well. Do you want to take the break now or?
All right, that would be great.
Wow, yeah, lost track of time. My bad. We can definitely.
Time flies.
Time flies when
Alright.
you're having fun. Yeah, I think we can take a 5-minute break there,
Cool.
and we'll get back to the action then. So
Cool.
thanks, guys.
Excellent.
We'll be
See
back
you soon.
See you guys soon.
Perfect.
Thanks,
See you in a
guys.
minute.
Hang on with us.
And we're back. Here we go, guys. We're back in Femless after spending a night out in the wilderness. And the guys are just kind of getting their bearings back in town now.
It was
so
wild.
it was wild. There was mind reading, there was backstory lore, there was hags, there was a whole lot of stuff.
I was a frog.
You were a frog. That's right.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Riverton, wasn't it?
Damn.
All right. So, what would you guys like to do next? So, I think at this point, Albrecht, you would have finished transcribing your notes.
Yeah. Cool. I think we've had our long rest. What time of day is it roughly? Still
It would be late. It would be late afternoon because you woke up early in the morning and it was a good few hours travel back down from the Round Mountain Trail. So, I would say it's probably about 4 p.m.
well, this plague is quite a pressing issue. I think we ought to crack on with things and
Really?
go and see the doctor.
I mean, we could settle in for the night and do it in the morning.
So I do want to, as soon as we walk into the tavern, just kind of reach over, like lean all the way over the bar stool or the countertop and just be like, "Hello, did you see Christina today?"
The lady with the bees.
Yes, I kind of left a message for her yesterday. I wasn't sure if she got it.
I haven't seen her, I'm afraid.
Did she check out?
No, I went and knocked on her bedroom door, but there was no answer. It was locked. I didn't want to invade a lady's privacy.
Oh,
I assumed she was exhausted from your trek. You said you traveled a long distance.
perhaps. Yeah, I guess I'll go give her a knock.
Yeah. You make your way upstairs outside Christina's room. You knock on the door and get no response.
That's... Well, she didn't leave. Yeah, Mina's just confused. I don't know what the rest of the party is doing or if anyone joined her, but yeah, she would knock on the door and just kind of almost like, "Huh, Christina, come on." It wasn't that bad. You could at least like say goodbye.
Darrell, go to Gargane. She seems quite exercised about finding this B1 that's with us. Gargane, have you got a master key, perchance?
Indeed I do, sir.
Might I borrow it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very well.
And he'll hand you the key.
Shadar will walk up the stairs and come around the corner and go, Mina, think fast. And he'll throw the key to her.
I will catch
Dexterity
that.
saving throw.
I have a dex of 17, so
Dexterity saving throw.
amazing.
Don't roll a 1. Key to the face.
I have a
Face key.
+8. Watch me roll a 1.
No, you're good.
24 matrix shit.
Decent.
Like
Straight
not
into the lock.
not only does like Shadar throw it, but you actually like just hold out a finger and the loop of the key just goes.
Nice. Flunk. Awesome. Let's get this over
Christina,
with.
I'm coming in.
We're coming in.
We're
yeah.
coming in.
You open the door. There is little fragments of a shattered mirror in the
Ooh.
room, but no sign of anyone.
Watch your feet.
Like it's not like she mended most of it after she broke it that time, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there's just like little fragments. It's not like scattered all over the place.
She's not here. I guess I thought she would have said goodbye. Maybe she just left.
Shadar will investigate the room, doors, windows, bed, under the bed, the whole lot.
I mean, I'll join them, but I don't imagine we'll find much.
Are
Do you want us to roll?
Are you proficient in investigation, Mina?
Proficient in perception.
Well, if
But-
you can't give the help action. If you're...
That's fine.
Oh, that's
I'll
true.
just give it a whack there. That's a 3
Are you
mark.
sure, darling? Are
Is
you
it-
sure?
Is a 3 good enough?
So Shadar, you walk up to the curtains at the window. You just look behind him. She goes, "She's not here."
Lord, yeah. Suspected she might have been hiding behind the curtains. Seems it's curtains for this investigation anyway.
This house is clear.
Did you just say it's curtains?
Nice.
Yes, it's curtains for this
Do you ever see that
investigation,
meme
my
of
friend.
the SWAT team coming through a kitchen? Your man's just hiding in the cupboard with a smug smile on his face. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, Mina's gonna shake her head with a little bit of a laugh and be like, "Well, let's not trash the room." So there's nothing there. No packs, no bags, no items, no. The bed doesn't look crazy. Just
Would she have left behind stuff? I don't know. I think she had her gear on her.
I imagine she would have.
Didn't you wild shape into something and then doesn't your gear come with you?
Yeah.
wild shapes with you, yeah. So there wouldn't be any trace of equipment. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
just
the
making
windows
sure.
would still be open.
Yeah,
That's what Shadar was looking for.
It's cracked open a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously he didn't see that.
And we didn't know she could wild shape. She kept that from us.
Exactly. Yeah, very much
That's,
so.
that's
so.
true. That's true.
So
But it goes to explain why it's not there. So
at some point, I'll just be like, "Well, I guess she left."
yes, Mina, and it's like a very rare glint of devilment in Shadar's eyes as he goes, "I do have a master key. Can open every single door on this floor.
What are you suggesting?
I don't know. We could move everything from room 3 into room 2 and room 4 into room 1.
Do you think Tyrion and Albrecht left anything in their room?
We'll note that Tyrion stayed in the common, like the communal kind of, but Albrecht did have his own room.
Albrecht seems like the type that would notice things are moved. We should move them.
Yes, I think so. Sounds good.
He strikes me as the type of guy, like, if you just tilted one of the frames in the room,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like Albrecht would walk in and be like,
it would ruin his day.
Everything in there would seem quite kind of untidy, but he would know exactly where everything was. So yeah, he would be a bit perturbed.
Well, I maybe we should memorize how untidy everything is and just move everything from like so the head of the board is on the west wall, just like mirror image. That's what move the whole room around. So
I like that
the
idea.
bed is on the right, and all of the things are precisely placed.
yes, I like that idea.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah, fuck with the guy who not hours ago you heard threaten someone with disintegration.
Anyway.
Only their headgear.
I'm not afraid. And when we're done with Albrecht's room, we could totally do it to other people's rooms too.
I mean, I believe if we were to do this convincingly, it could possibly take it upwards of 45 minutes. I mean, I believe you were the one earlier on suggesting that we get small as quickly as possible. So maybe just the one room tonight.
That's fair. That's fair.
Very well. And so we'll just move everything around. So if you come in and everything's the head of the bed is on the left hand side, the head of the bed will then be on the right hand side, and then everything will be facing the opposite, the kind of mirror image of the.
All right.
Mina's giggling the whole time.
Shadar, yeah, there's no giggling from him, but there's just there is a kind of wry smile.
No, Mina is giggling. The whole
Yeah.
time.
So, what's happening downstairs with Tyrion?
Scraping a bed on floors.
I'll sidle up next to Tyrion. So, Sir Tyrion, where do you hail from?
No, there's no need for the sir. It's for introduction and ceremony. Tyrion is fine, but I can't say exactly where, but it's not from this continent. I can inform you that much.
Oh, so you really aren't local then?
No, I've traveled a long way to get here on business.
I suppose you found it good to arrive in a land that would mostly be for the same deity as yourself then.
Oh, it's the good thing about the pantheon of the gods. Everywhere you go, they seem to be similar in many regards. There are some rare ones you don't hear much of, and false ones constantly popping up. But when you need help, you just need to know how to raise the right hand.
I've never been much for the gods, but I believe they might have helped me once or twice.
Well, many people believe the gods are divine deities that do only good, and there are those people who believe that the gods shouldn't be worshipped, and that in fact it is those who bring all this evil into the world to keep this balance. Can't personally say which is correct or which is wrong, but I know what side I fall on.
There'd be plenty of gods that we doing bad things as well, though. So
Yeah, most definitely.
I think that balances out itself. So are you here for, I'm assuming, business?
Well, I originally came to deal with an evil entity in Grendel, but when I arrived, I seem to have found our friend Shadar here had beaten me to the quarry. So the Duke is a friend of the family and asked me to escort him to the play, and well, that's where it all went wrong.
The Duke? Which Duke?
The Duke of Fenwal. Albus. The first, not the current sitting son.
So Alberus survived?
Yes.
Well, that is good news.
Oh, you know Albus.
I briefly met him once or twice, but I was more a case of, well, I was directly working for him. I worked in the barracks. I was making all the armaments and the weapons for the soldiers. Not just me, of course, but I certainly had my hands full.
No, those noble works. I know many smiths myself.
Absolutely. The Smiths are one of the cornerstones of our civilization. I'm glad to hear that he's alive and well.
Well, alive, and I assume, well, he wasn't exactly happy with some of the findings of what he woke up to and seeing what had happened to Grendel, but last I seen him, he was off to talk with his son, Albrecht II.
Quick question to Mark. I'm assuming that it was the father that...
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was just making sure I had that right.
Yeah.
Yes, well... Yeah. I have to say Grendel was It was my home for a long time, and I was very sad to wake up that day.
You were in Grendel when the incident took place, were you?
I've lived in Grendel for many a year. That, like I said, I worked within the barracks.
What was her name? What was that kid's name?
Which kid?
Elliot or Yennefer?
No, the one that
that's
Buckets was
Elliot.
protecting.
Oh, I can tell you that now.
No, Buckets was the kobold. What's the fucking
Buckets was the No, you're
Buckets is
thinking
the
of
kobold.
Scraps.
Yes.
The lock. Yeah. Did you know the lock fists?
So roll a history check, Damon. You would know the father, Edrum Lockfist, Dwarven. He was a farmer, and he had a wife and twin daughters, of whom you would know very little about, but you'd know him from kind of like he would have brought maybe some scythes and stuff for you to sharpen during the harvest seasons and things like that, but you wouldn't know him particularly well. You would know Scraps though. He ran the silver anvil, the other like general smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew of Scraps. I didn't work with him, but his work was of exemplary ability. I was kind of ushered more towards the Duke's smiths, but I knew of Scraps for sure.
Well, the main reason I ask you is because the youngest daughter, Harry, is alive currently with Scraps. They've gone to the not the clinic. What was the building beside the clinic? It wasn't the Isn't there a quarantine check-in?
Yeah, there's a quarantine area.
Yeah, they've gone to the area to be tested in case there is a infection from the madness.
And do you know of any more survivors?
No, I wouldn't exactly say a survivor, but I know before we managed to exit Grendel, the poor patrol outside, who were severely undermanned, informed us of someone that left ahead of us in a cloak. And then the guards here can confirm they saw someone of a similar description, but they turned them away.
What type of cloak?
What was he? What was he? It was a blue cloak, wasn't it? It was yeah, blue cloak. Yes, he wore a blue cloak, and he had he was hooded, and he hit his face. But the guards believe there was a type of mushroom growth.
And he was here.
Yes, they turned him away at the main gate. I asked why did they not apprehend him as he's blatantly infected, but the quarantine measures weren't set correctly.
And where were they heading?
They were attempting to enter the city.
No, but after, when they were turned away.
Oh, they walked off into the woods.
Right. Excuse me, Tyrion. I'll be back. And then Damon just gets up and just starts walking out to go towards the gatehouse.
Okay. We'll jump to that in just a second.
Yep.
Albrecht, was there anything you wanted to do?
No, just passing the time relaxing, really.
Yeah. Okay. Anything from Shadar, Mina, before we jump to the barracks?
Actually, yeah. So I imagine we're kind of rearranging the room, and like Mina will start like pushing the bed and be like,
Yeah, and actually I meant to say as well that the guys will probably hear like the scraping of wood against the stairs, and they're probably like, well, it's about time, I guess. Kidding. But sorry, go ahead. Go
It
ahead.
sounds very unrhythmical up there. But anyway.
He's only
Oh
learning.
my goodness.
Maybe she should try beating that drum a bit better.
Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Anyway, the DM
Right.
ships it now.
Looking a bit
So-
red there, Andy.
Yeah, I was playing the line.
Mhm.
So, Mina will be moving kind of like the bed to one corner, like we talked about. She'll ask for help, of course, and then just kind of try to mention it super casually and be like, "Well, you've made it obvious you're a follower of the Raven Queen, right?
Really? Is it that obvious?
I have a question for you. It's kind of about the Raven Queen, actually. I just heard different stories, and I wonder which one you believe in. So
What do you mean, different stories?
yeah, so like, you know how she put on this whole like ceremony thing to become a god, where she was like taking all the power from her followers and everything.
You
I've
know
just-
why she did this? Not from a desire for power, for a desire to save the Seldrine.
Well, I guess that's where the different stories I've heard is, because the one story I've heard is like
Well,
the.
no, he goes.
Do you want to hear my stories, or do you
stops.
want to preach?
No, he goes to interrupt, but he stops because it's a very, very, it's a hot topic for him.
Oh, but she's gonna go on and kind of detail that, you know, the ritual where she was kind of consuming her followers' souls to get their magic, and there's one story that says that it went wrong because there was a bunch of like evil wizards among her followers that kind of corrupted the ritual and sent it all awry. But then you know, and that's kind of why they ended up like down into the Shadowfell. But I've also heard stories that it was like her fault, that it was because she was like greedy, and it was the greed that took them, that the Raven Queen knew that the power she had and the soul she was consuming wasn't enough, and that she decided to take more anyway, and then she ended up sentencing herself and her loyal followers to the kind of terrible existence of the Shadowfell.
You
So
feel that Mina feels immediately that she's taking the weight of the bed on her own now.
Okay.
Shadar, like,
And
so
she'll
the
kind
bed-
of she'll
the
kind of
bed
trail
stops
off, because
moving.
those are the two stories that she's heard, and she's just kind of detailing them, and she'll stop pushing and just be like, Shadar?
I'm interested to hear the source of these differing tales you tell.
I don't know,
But
they're books in the libraries. I had a lot of time in Aston. I picked some
books
up,
in
I
what
read them.
books in what libraries did you read these differing accounts?
Shadar's
if
like,
you- if you
hashtag
wish-
sources.
If you wish to learn the truth, I suggest you travel to the Corvid Cathedral.
Or
and read the doctrine of the Raven
hear me
Queen.
out, I could ask a cleric of the Raven Queen who would know. That's you. You're the cleric that would know.
Why do you wish to know this knowledge, Mina?
What?
Why do you wish to know this knowledge?
Oh, I'm just curious. Read different books that said different things, and I figure you've devoted your life to her. You would obviously know more.
Well, Mina, my time educating acolytes has passed.
I'm not an acolyte. I'm just
You are
curious.
Yes, I agree, Mina.
Hmm.
I agree. Well, your references to exaggerated tales of the Raven Queen's greed are false. They are vicious untruths spread by the followers of Orcus to demonize her.
Just if you were, since you do seem to like to talk to the Raven Queen about everyone we come in contact with. Stories might be better than threats, which most people would find.
So you need to explain yourself a little bit better, Mina. Stories might be better than threats when I've threatened anyone. I've issued promises, not threats.
Sure, but when a promise is of pain or death or...
Life is pain, Mina.
People tend to take them as threats.
Mina,
like if I were to tell you that one day...
promise of all.
I guess you would think it was beautiful.
If you were to tell me one day what?
Oh, no.
You were saying if you were to tell me one day.
I was going to say something, but I imagine you actually would find it comforting. So maybe not. Maybe it's not the best.
So let's not do that.
Are you going to help or are you just going to stand there?
Which one do you believe, Mina?
I don't know. I think the followers of gods tend to believe the best of their god all the time. And I think to a certain extent they have to, because if their god was capable of truly terrible things, would they still be worth worshipping?
Same could be said for friends, Mina.
But if gods are, those that do these truly terrible things and they make mistakes and they're still worth worship, it says a lot about people and people's redemption. And, it changes these gods from untouchable things to relatable in a way.
So I will straighten a few things that weren't previously straightened in the room. Whereas Albrecht said that there were things crooked. Shadar is straightening a few things now out of a sense of frustration and ability to control his temper.
I really don't mean to frustrate you. I'm just asking. I figured you'd want to talk about your queen.
I mean,
but if I've offended, I'm sorry.
You haven't offended. It's not my place to discuss the faults or tales of possible faults of who the Raven Queen was before she ascended to her current state. I deal in absolutes, the absolutes that were formed after she became a deity. That's who I worship. I don't worship who she once was.
You're not interested in the story
of
how she got there?
Of course. I know the story off by heart. He'll pull up a sleeve and you'll see like the part of the story on his left tattoo sleeve. You'll see like in black and gray, it's the story of her journey to becoming a deity.
Whoa.
And he'll say, I know the story all too well, Mina.
Wow, is that the whole story?
Travels with me. What?
So tell me. You just seem to refute my story, but what's the story?
Really? Yeah, well, I mean, short of reciting a few, it's the first one you said. Yes, she did witness a terrible conflict between Corellin and Loth. She was worried that dispute might tear the Celdrine asunder. She readied her followers to perform a powerful ritual in order to become a deity so she could intervene and speak with the rest of the Pantheon in order to maybe stop the damage that was going to be done. The ensuing war between Corellin and Loth. For the ritual involved the offering of the Raven Queen's followers' souls and magic to add to her own power, enabling her to reach Avandor. Followers, as I'm sure you know, Mina, repeating things you already know, called themselves the Shadar Kai. They firmly believed their queen was capable of reunifying the Elven Pantheon and the Sundered Elves. Fortunately, there were some among their followers who attempted to divert some of the energy from this ritual to amplify their own powers. Moments before completing the ritual, reaching our end door, the Queen reacted by punishing the wizards with a burst of divine fury. I'm sure you've seen me wield a version of that divine fury, Mina. This curse corrupted the ritual to a siphon that dragged the Queen and her followers into the Shadowfell, where she was instantly killed.
But she came back, right?
Thanks to her recently acquired divine power, she rose from the ashes. In her growing madness and grief, transformed the wizards into the wretched avian forms known as Nagpas, and banished them to one of the planes.
Is Shadar mentioning motioning to his tattoos or like showing?
No, he just pulled it up to just show that he had part of the story is on his arm, but you do see him unconsciously reach towards different points on his arm where this story continues, and it ends at the Fortress of Memories on his top right shoulder.
So Mina would because I imagine we were both pushing the bed on different sides. She'll she'll stand up when you're doing it and she'll get closer. She'll reach out almost if to touch and then reevaluate who you are and then not touch. But yeah, I imagine she's just there looking at the tattoos as you're telling her the story.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, when she did ascend to the Pantheon, both Corellin and Loth considered her actions treasonous. So they erased the memory of her existence from all elves. In order to avoid disappearing entirely, she drew the memories of her existence from the Shadowfell itself in order to sustain her identity. Over time, the subjective remains of the Queen and the loose, darkened memories gave rise to the entity that we now worship as the Raven Queen. That's her story. I think more important to remember or to consider is not her story, but her role in the world and the universe present. She's the one that guides souls from this place to the next.
Yes, she is
the one who decides whether souls are worth returning. That is a noble cause.
She's an interesting goddess. I'll give you that. I didn't know you had tattoos. It's also kind of.
It's what?
That's kind of cool.
Well, it's not part of the. Sorry, just 1 second. Shadar blushes.
Got him!
And he kind of looks down and straightens the bed a little bit, and he says, "Well, it's not a requirement for the clergy. It's something I did off my own bat. It's a token of recognition. Pain focuses the mind, if you will. Anyway, he kind of straightens his arm and pulls his sleeve back down. It's enough mischief for one day, I suppose."
Yeah. Well, thanks for.
You're gone very low there, Mina. I don't know. On your mic.
Well, thanks for the story. I guess let's get out of here before Albrecht comes up.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to when you go back to turn in for the night and you all check into your rooms, and then all you can hear from Albrecht's room is "ah."
Shadar would hear it. Mina might not, but Shadar.
The whole tavern is going to hear it.
Disintegration.
Who is in my room?
Should I pop back down to
okay.
What's his name?
Gargant.
Gargant, yeah. And he'll throw him the key.
Cool.
Well, my friend, seems you may be able to rent that room out again. No sign of it. All their things are gone and whatnot.
Must have bailed.
Yes. Gargant.
The room was paid for.
Do you have any wineskins?
Any what?
Wineskins.
Oh, well, yeah, I would have.
Very well. Give me 3. Fill them up with the medium stuff for my journey. I had the bottles at the. Sometimes when I'm trying to sneak, the bottles clink louder than my chainmail. You know, I need to make some adjustments to my technique.
Okay, so all in all, that'll be 20 silver for the lot.
Normally, he's just like, yes, whatever. And then he's like, he counts it out.
Counting it out in coppers.
Pretty much.
It's like I got 1 gold and 7 silvers. And
That's 20 silver. That's 2 gold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's okay. He still has 18 gold. But it's running low. That's why he's, you know. Anyway, there you go, Gargain.
You kindly, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So I've no map for the other place. So Damon, if you want to jump to that scene, I'm happy to do that here.
That's fine. So I'll just go up to the barracks to the way in from Grendel, as I know that it would have been. Which one of you dealt with the people with the cloaks? I've heard you turned away some people. Who was it?
So you see 2 guards kind of at a table, kind of just like eating their lunch or their dinner, I suppose. And one of them looks back and goes, I explained the situation to the paladin. We couldn't arrest the guy for just not wanting to do a quarantine test.
I don't care whether that was the case or not. Where did they go?
Oh, I think they walked west, maybe towards, any other point, like over shoulder, towards the mountains, except you kind of have to go through the town to go on the Relland Mountain Trail. There's not really much else past there, so I'm not sure.
That's really not good enough. I'm going to need to do something to you. You need to allow me to do it. It won't hurt, but I need this information.
Oh, they're good, like one hand like on the hilt of their blade. No, you won't come any closer, sir.
Listen, I'm friends with the Duke. I've worked for the Duke back in Grendel. Trust me, there's no issue here. I just would like to see if I can look into your memory to see if I can see exactly where they went. It's very important.
You do no such thing, and like half the sword is drawn from the sheet now. I was like, no, you don't be using that magic on me, young man. I mean it.
I can always ask some of my friends or even the Duke to come out here and make you tell me.
Well, you certainly go do that. You keep your magics out of my head.
Which way did they go? And think very carefully.
So you're going to actually just go ahead and do it?
No, I'm asking him once more to tell me.
Oh, okay.
To really think about it for a second.
Okay, and he's just like,
And my tail, by the way, at this point, it's whipping. Like an angry cat. Like, it's... I'm not happy about this, and I want to know from him.
Yeah, so he really thinks for a minute, and he says, look, you didn't follow him, he just went towards the mountains. That's all we know.
How many?
Just the one. Just the guy.
4 foot? 6 foot?
Well, he was about your height, I guess.
Did he look stocky, or was he of slim build?
He was slim enough. Yeah, I could have taken him in a fist fight. I'll put it to you that way.
I guarantee you couldn't have. But just in case he happens to come around again, please try to do so, and please try to keep him here. It's very important.
Is this man a wanted man? Is he a criminal? Is there a reason we should detain him? Is he dangerous?
I'd say he's probably very dangerous, considering it seems like he could have been the one that started this madness down in Grendel.
That's a pretty wild accusation to make. Do you know something that maybe...
Oh, don't worry. I'll be telling the right people what I know. And I'll just turn around and start walking back into town.
Okay. Okay.
I'll head back to the tavern to grab the guys, especially Tyrion, as that's who I was talking to. Do you know where the Duke is right now?
He would be lodging with the mayor in the hall. I don't know if I mentioned that, so sorry if I interrupted.
I think we might need to go and see him as soon as possible. I know you guys have spoken about going in some body, but this may be more important.
What does he believe you know?
If I'm right, this person that they sent away at the guard station is actually, in fact, the one that caused this spread in Grendel.
Well, we did have that thought ourselves, but we believed it more pertinent to stop the infection and then follow them. But if you deem it this is necessary, you do seem quite perturbed. I see no reason why we can't talk to the Duke.
Well, put it this way. Between him and his friend, they shoved me in a crate after knocking me out and left me there for God knows how long until I woke up with half the town dead around me. I'm a little perturbed, as you say.
Oh, yes, that's... I'll give you that one. Maybe it is pertinent to tell the Duke, if you are aware of these people's name. Do you know their names or just their...
The guard at the... Well, no, I don't know their name, and the guard at the gate was not very forthcoming with real information. I asked him if I was able to access his mind to gather more information that he might just not be aware of, but he refused.
Yes, the madness has definitely put a strain on the civil servants around here, and they're not the best quality as some other, well, I suppose larger towns would guarantee, but I suppose they're doing what they can.
I suppose. Listen, I'm all for doing this thing with this infection, but I believe finding out a person that could lead us to the cause is probably more pertinent. But I'll leave that in your fine and capable hands as a group.
I was maybe walking by the mayor's house to get to the clinic, so stopping in for a few moments to speak with the Duke should not be an issue.
Okay. So if we're heading off, and
you guys are going to head off,
fill them in on the new information on the cloaked figure.
So yeah, Damon tells the rest of the group about the hooded guy, his friend who didn't seem to come with him to the gate at least, and how they shoved him into a crate after knocking him out, and how he believes that they're the ones that started the infection spread.
I mean, Shadar would ask, I mean, do you have any more information as to possibly the means they may have used, or their history, or who they were, or what abilities they had, or...
Yeah, so what motivation might they have had to do this? Do you know?
Indeed.
So, when I was heading over to Illimus's house to find you, Albrecht, to take you to the theatre, I noticed a strange individual, blue robe, hooded, seemed to be sneaking around the town. Not someone I would recognize as walking around my town. I followed them. They made their way to the theatre. I managed to infiltrate and get in to find them chanting and doing some sort of ritual upon the stage. I went to subdue them, but unfortunately was subdued myself by a hulking man that seemed to be his accomplice. After hearing the small amount that I did, which was that apparently I was to be left alive to suffer the same as the town, because that is what she would like. I was then knocked unconscious and placed within a crate, which I don't know how long I was in for, but I know when I woke up, I broke my way out and the town was as it was.
Well, thankfully you did survive. This is dreadful. But it seems to prove that there is a malicious intent behind this outbreak. And, yes, well, I agree with you. I think it's very important that we find this blue-cloaked fellow as soon as possible.
The blue cloak? Or these folk wear any matching robes or have any sort of religious or divine significance to their attire? Anything that would identify them as some sort of existing
As a follower of a particular god or a
religious
cult
worship
or
or something? Yes.
Did I notice anything like that, Mark?
They were they were matching plain blue robes, but no symbols.
Matching plain, anything matching.
I will
suspicious,
tell
my
you
lord.
though that they did have blue faces, and they seem to have that infection growing from their face, which is what alerted me when Tyrion told me of their existence coming to the gate.
This large human, or this large hulking fellow. Is it human, Goliath, the half-orc, the race? That we might recognize him if we saw him.
I wouldn't be able to tell. Unfortunately, he was behind me when he subdued me. He grappled me.
Very well. Well then, given your height,
Oh, he was definitely taller.
very well.
I would have said, yes, he would have at least been maybe a half foot taller.
How tall is Damon?
I think I said he was 6'2", if I remember rightly.
So
very
I thought you
tall
were
fellow
the
indeed.
sixth
closing on 7
Because there's like
foot.
3
Then.
of you that are 6 foot tall.
Yeah, just mean as like short
I'm
ass in the middle.
5'2", so like
Alfred's about 5'10".
5'6" when you stand on your drum, my dear.
why would I stand on my drum?
Why not?
To see over a wall? I don't know.
If I need to see over a wall that none of you can see over, I will climb on somebody's shoulder.
See over the
To
bar.
mount your horse.
You don't know about my horse.
Neither do
My
you.
God, is it 2
So
foot
that's-
tall?
So some sort of large humanoid then.
My point being merely that maybe catching hold of this figure as quick as possible might lead to answers much more expediently.
It's a good point. A very good point.
Well, we were already, I believe that figure was some 12 hours ahead of us before we left Grendel.
And some days ahead now.
Hmm.
David, is there anything you can remember about this? Anything else you can remember about this large humanoid? More senses than sight. Is there anything remarkable about how it smelled?
Actually,
Or-
there is something else I remember. Actually, he said, "What was it now?" I don't know if it was a name or if it was just a word of acknowledgement, but he said something like "Futak."
Talk. Right, it's like, was this in response to an order or a question, or was it like an affirmation of strength when he sees you, like,
Or
"Whoa,
a
Futak."
name.
Alfred, do you
A name.
recognize that as any kind of language?
Do I, Mark?
Languages do you speak?
Let me have a look and remind myself. I
Um,
don't think I have very many. I think it's just common and elvish.
Yeah, I've got Common, Elvish, and Sylvan. Though I
I've-
imagine I've had experiences with lots of different languages.
I've got Abyssal, Celestial, Common, and Elvish.
I will say it sounded more of a question because he was asking it, and the reply from the other man was, "No, we'll leave him survive with the others."
Fuck.
While Alfric says, could it be a language? Tyrion will concentrate for a moment and activate his helm and cast Comprehend Languages.
Yes.
Ooh,
And say, what was it again?
nice.
Would I remember well enough, Mark, to be able to make the sound with
that's
my
what I was gonna ask.
thaumaturgy?
I'll need a history check to see if you can get it proper.
Okay, that's fair.
And then you can use thaumaturgy to do the thing.
History. I'm pretty good with this.
Can I give him guidance?
Sure. Ooh, oh.
That hung out at
Nice.
the 1 for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
23 total then.
Okay. Tyrion, can you tell what language it is, or it doesn't just translate?
I think you just understand it. Like you understand all spoken languages and you can read any language.
Okay. Yeah. So, Damon just used thaumaturgy to kind of basically from memory and just sounds out. And Tyrion, you guys all hear whatever it was, Futak, and Tyrion, you hear, should I kill him?
Do we understand which language? Did you understand the language?
I couldn't tell you what language it is, but I understand the words, yes.
I'm relatively, we'll say, well-traveled, well-experienced. Could I make some sort of history check to try and recognize what language it could be?
Sure.
You're a little bit quiet, Andy. Just
Yeah, you're a little
Turn
low.
your mic up or something.
Is it better now? Do I just have to talk into it?
That's a little bit better, I think.
Still a little bit low.
Okay.
We can,
So
we can
history
hear you
check,
for
right?
now.
History check, right?
Yeah. I will say it will be an incredibly high DC. And a 21 is not going to do it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
What time is it in the day, Mark?
About 4 p.m.
Well, I'm rather good at study. I could spend the rest of the day in the library trying to see if I can match up this phrase with a language.
Well, do we want to do
do-
that, or do we want to see the doctor?
I do actually have one more thing as well, remembering back.
Oh,
Hang on. And I'll use my thaumaturgy again because I don't want to say it out loud as Damon. But what you would hear is Hoshtak, Onek, Dugra, Mahalem.
So I will need another history check to see if you get that right. Sorry.
Oh, from me? Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And just to make sure, because I feel like I'm not pronouncing it quite right, I will kind of just give myself an internal kick as I use my flash of genius and add a 5 to it.
Nice. Yeah, and you again, like, it's kind of the
I should
last.
use that on my history check, buddy.
Because I didn't know you were doing it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it's kind of the last thing you heard before waking up in that crate, so it's kind of embedded in your mind, I guess. And when so sorry, I was just trying to find where the translation was. As you say this out, everyone hears just the gibberish that you also believe it to be, but Tyrion, you hear, you stand before the stage of our almighty queen. Hark, and witness her birth in this world.
And before the mighty stage of our queen, hearken, witness her rebirth or birth?
Birth in this world. And then
he'll
that's when the other dude says, should I kill him? And then Damon understood the last sentence.
her birth. Tyrion will say to them, inform them. The language wasn't abyssal or infernal, was it?
No.
Just double check because then he would be able to.
that doesn't sound good.
No, a queen being birthed at such an unholy event. Definitely feels like we were in the right place at the right time. Myself and Shadar, anyway, this definitely seems like a terrible matter.
Well, I still think it might be of benefit figuring out the language. It might be able to nail down, I don't know, something of use.
I still think we go to the apothecary first.
Let's just
Oh,
get
well,
this
I'd be
over
happy
and
to.
done with. The idea, I loathe it.
It might be worth getting that undergo so that at least the apothecary can be working on it.
Yes,
we're out.
if we're to pursue these fellows, we could be gone from here for some time. So we may as well get this done.
Yes, at least if we have a cure, we can help the survivors of Grendal and the surrounding areas while we attempt to apprehend them.
Yes, it could help us to keep the plague at bay, at least, until we can get to the bottom of things.
I take this acknowledgement. I understand. This is something we should do first, for sure.
But this information could be very useful, Damon. I'm glad that you were able to catch up with us.
Sorry that happened to you, Damon.
Yes, being put in a crate
Yes,
sounds
well.
very unpleasant.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, unless it's a
squeeze his
coffin.
shoulder.
I mean, as they say, worse things happen at sea, right?
Worst things always happen at sea.
Unless it's a burial, let's see. I mean, that's quite good.
Shadar, remind me to talk to you about how life can be sometimes more meaningful than death.
More meaningful?
I've
Meaningful.
tried. I've tried.
Damon's pissed off right now, okay?
I'm more than willing to have that conversation with you, my friend, but death is the eventual end to the journey of life. Nothing can be more meaningful in my eyes. Anyway, I understand, or at least recognize.
I look forward to it, but
Yes.
she's not ready for me yet.
Oh, she's ready for you at any time, my friend. Should your time come. Don't worry, I'll put in a good word for you. Or,
Don't worry, she's already told me it's not yet.
or maybe I won't. It's a little clerical joke.
Just in response to being stuffed in a crate, Aaron says that wouldn't be crate now, would it?
No, it really wouldn't.
Nice.
So you guys are going straight to the clinic?
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Let's
We've,
do it.
we've
I had
put
one
this off
job.
long
It was
enough.
to get these boys to this
Yeah,
You've
apothecary.
dilly-dallied. The guy isn't going to live forever in the coma. One would
Right.
assume.
He is deteriorating, so there is that. Not long now. So yeah, you guys arrive at Dr. Albrecht's clinic, and as you go
The
into
door
this,
open.
yeah, it's open. Yeah. And yeah, again, you just see these poor souls like suffering. There were some beds empty that were occupied the day before, but are no longer. You can take from that what you will. But yeah,
Are there any that look like they're right on the cusp of death?
they all look pretty bad.
Well, Shadar will make his way around, then he'll cover his nose and mouth with a rag, soaked. Well, not soaked, but moistened with wine, and he'll cover his nose and mouth, and he'll systematically give them all the last rites.
Hey, Doc, are you here?
Yeah, he calls from the back. Oh, Lady Mina, yes, I've everything prepared. And in fact, I was expecting you yesterday, but no, I know you're busy.
We had a
folks.
little detour,
Understandable. And he's like, but yes, no,
and we've swapped people. Allow me to introduce you to Damon.
Oh, you did say you were going to get some able-bodied adventurers for this.
I
this
did.
this task, and you look like you've certainly rounded up some interested folks. He's talking kind of very like fast, and like he seems like you can see bags under his eyes. This dude has not slept much lately. But he's like, okay, well, please, Raymond is he's prepped for the procedure.
It's up here, is it?
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, the guy.
Doctor, I'm a man of intellectual curiosity, particularly in magical
Certainly, yes. Well, what I simply did was I took it took me a long time to find one. I'm an apothecary, but I'm not a miracle worker. I manufactured, or I came across this reduce potion, standard reduce potion that only shrinks one's body by a fraction, a certain amount,
Yes,
maybe a foot or two, for a finite amount of time.
I'm familiar.
But I managed to find an able enough wizard to cast reduce on the potion. What I did was I repeated the process several times, and I just added the reduce potion to another reduce potion. And basically, what you're doing is drinking several exponential amounts of a reduce potion, all in one go.
That is really something. I mean,
incredibly difficult to do. It took me a long time to work up the funds to do this.
Yes, I'm just trying to figure out just how many sort of safe practice guidelines you've broken there, but it is desperate times, desperate measures. I think it's really quite an ingenious method.
Well, unfortunately, illness doesn't follow any rule books. Sometimes
Indeed.
you have to.
Indeed.
must
And
bend
has
the
this been tested at all yet?
I have tested this on myself, but I have not entered any. I will warn you that it is quite dangerous. What we're doing.
No, naturally, these things are to be expected. But it worked.
Yes, it lasts for 6 hours.
And is there any, any unpleasant lasting effects?
No, you might feel a little bit lightheaded at first because your perception, your spatial perception, your depth perception is all changed.
Well, I'm sure we can deal with that.
Do I believe him?
Roll insight.
Yeah, I think Albrecht's he's got a bit carried away here. He's just taking it as fact.
No, I'm fine. It's all good.
You are sold. Sold, my man.
Doesn't this sound brilliant?
Yeah, give me the bottle. Let's have a go.
David, you seem on board from the get-go here.
Well, before we start drinking any potions here, let me... I'll keep one of these, and he'll hand this to Albrecht, and you take the other one. This is a sending stone. I'll be able to communicate with you, and if you have any questions about the body, or if you need to know what something looks like or what exactly we're looking for, I can talk to you using this.
Very good idea. Very good.
You can tell us what to avoid in there.
Indeed.
I think we had better not tarry any longer.
Yes, I'm all ready. Let's go.
Shadar, you like a drink? I don't suppose you have any objections, do you?
I'm sorry, what?
You're fond of, I'm sure you've had a strange beverage or two in your time.
I don't know what that has to do with this, but I mean, yes, I've consumed a potion or two.
Well, you'll be, you don't have any objections, I take it?
No, I don't.
Mina, Tyrion, you, is this all agreeable with you?
For the greater good, of course.
Oh,
Mina
good doctor.
definitely takes a second where you realize that she didn't think that she was going to be going to, and then she'll just kind of, yeah.
Oh, I'm coming too.
Like, if you guys want me to come along.
Okay.
I mean, it was your idea, was it not?
You may never get an opportunity like this again. It's going to be brilliant.
This is like convincing someone like at a fun fair, like, come on the ghost train, it'll be fun. And, you come out and you're like, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah. No, Mina was tasked to get you guys, not necessarily to do it.
Just think
but
that
she definitely caved to peer pressure in about a second and a half. Like,
the account of this could be historic. You'll be mentioned by name in it, surely.
That's fascinating. What's the doctor's name?
Dr. Albrecht.
Dr. Albrecht.
Well, he says you can call him Doc. Everyone else.
Well, Doc, you've got a minute in private.
Well, of course, yes.
Is this a door?
Yeah. You can close it behind you if you want.
He will close it behind him and go, and he'll come up to him here, and he'll say, "Well, Doctor, seems you've been burning the midnight oil, as it were." Working hard, little sleep.
Well, afraid this illness does not rest, so neither can I. These people need my help.
Are you using any substances to stay awake?
Oh, well, I am sleeping just as required. More naps here and there.
Yes, but nothing chemical to help you stay pepped or stay awake.
Well, no, maybe some. I do drink some strong tea every now and again, but that is...
Very well, fine. Just a question, that's all. No problem.
I see what you were getting at, but no,
Yeah.
it doesn't. Yeah.
Shadar is, he's more than interested in
anything
that can sort of distract his thoughts from what he's forced to think about.
So
Now-
Mina does approach the body, just kind of do a general check of like, yep, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Looks terrible. Looks a lot worse than the
He's-
last time I
Yeah,
saw
his
him.
breathing is very raspy. He's like... kind of like that. And you can see that his skin is very kind of pally and wet or moist or whatever you like. Feverish, I suppose is the best word.
Wet.
It's
Moist.
lucky we turned up when
Moist.
we did. He doesn't look like he's got long left.
Look, if he
Yes.
were in better shape, would we have more time?
Yeah,
Well,
sort of thing.
the potion only lasts for 6 hours, and I dare say poor Raymond has but a day left in him.
So, if I were to use some healing magic on it, it wouldn't really make a difference.
Healing magics don't seem to have any effect on the violent madness, I'm afraid.
How powerful the healing magic has been tried.
Well, I'm no cleric, but I know types of healing magics that have cured stab wounds and the likes. Haven't worked on the likes of this affliction. I've seen people with diseases being healed by a chapel cleric, but a similar spell would not work on these folk.
Very well.
Doctor, I have a question.
Hmm.
When the effects of this potion come to their conclusion and the subjects return to normal size, do you have a plan for how we might exit this fellow's innards before that happens? It could be a
Yes, it would
terrible
be-
trauma otherwise.
It would be very unfortunate if you were to re-enlarge while still inside.
Yes, it would be.
Poor Raymond. While you would,
Alien.
while you would just be maybe traumatized, poor Raymond would not survive the.
That is my concern.
Well, I will be inserting you fine folk through the mouth of Raymond, and you will enter down through the esophageal region. But after that, that is a one entry only pursuit. We'll have to find alternate means of exiting.
Oh, well, that's I suppose the price one must pay for
If
discovery.
any teleportation magic you could utilize after our mission has been completed.
Well, if
Oh,
one has such a spell, might work. Yes.
is there a teleportation circle in?
Well, I mean, I could carve one into its stomach.
Is there an existing teleportation circle in this town?
Not in a small town like Femless.
But I mean,
And David just puts his hand on Shadar's shoulder and is like, "But at least if he does die, you could talk to him afterwards, eh?"
yes, indeed, I can. If you have any questions you'd like to ask him.
It'd be more a case of if we can ask him.
Say that again, sorry.
I just replied to him saying, "Now it's more of a question of whether we'd be able to ask him anything if we survive."
But if we don't,
Well-
it will be a glorious day, my friend.
Given the poor state of this manor, I'd hate to put this off any longer, but you do have the sending stones if you want to workshop our way out.
Very
Further.
well. Let's
we'll
do it.
just have to get to it when we get to it, won't we? I'm sure we'll figure something out. We're resourceful people.
Down the hatch, right?
Just quickly, good doctor. My friend here, Rocket, would be staying outside. He's going to be staying guard on this point. And I will say to you that bar yourself, anyone else were to enter here, he will attack. Is that okay?
Very well. I will place a sign on the other side of the door saying, "Do not enter. Operation in progress," or something of that manner. So, if no one is really known to come into this place, people are quite turned away by the poorly sight of these folk.
One of the patients, I feel better.
Not anymore.
While we're on the subject of your own knowledge there, dear doctor, there is a bear-sized dog patrolling this building. Don't be perturbed. He's just keeping an eye.
Oh, well, you have the security measures down to a T. I like this.
I'll be too sure when you're inside somebody else, you know. Always use protection.
Always take precautions. Yes. So I hear anyway.
Dr. Albrecht's got you covered.
Nice.
Puts on
Yes.
the big technical glove.
All right, so you guys down in the potions.
Yeah.
Without further ado, yeah, let's do it.
All right.
See you on the other side,
Tic
Doctor.
Tacs.
Do we need
So-
a con save?
They were just placebos. No, you don't, because I assume you're willingly failing the con saving throw. So immediately after taking the potion, Dr. Albrecht, he ushers up to the head of the table where Raymond is, and he says, he ushers you all up to the head of the table, and he says, there now, bundle up tightly, don't want to miss anyone. He gestures for you to huddle as closely together as you start to feel a little bit funny.
Oh, definitely like arm around whoever is next to me. So
Nice.
I was thinking it more like sandwich action. I was going to be like behind someone, like hugging him around the waist.
It's like you're posing for a
is that your
cheesy
tail?
80s photograph.
Shadar looks like kind of really, really uncomfortable, but he'll put his arms around Mina and Damon.
there goes chat.
So at first, it looks like the room is getting larger, but as you look to your surroundings, particularly at the ground, you see that you're getting closer and closer to the floor.
Oh.
The timber floorboards are slowly zooming in, and you begin to notice the finer details in the wood's grain. So I suppose what you once would have considered to be specks of dirt are becoming like larger clumps of dirt. You look back up at the dock, and you see there you're about the size of the top of his shoe. But as he looks down with you, an expression of awe and fascination, just kind of looking like what you're going. You continue to shrink. He drops to a knee, and that feels like a violent tremor on the floor you stand. And he lowers a small piece of parchment, and this voice booms even though he's talking normally. "Quickly, climb onto this before you get too small," he says. And
Yes, my dear man, stop shouting, will you please? It's very loud.
Wait,
my friend, I'm looking forward to this.
definitely like.
Shadar squeaky voice for the win. So he says, as you all climb onto the paper, he lifts you up and lays you next to the now gigantic Raymond laying on the table. He says, "Don't worry," as he begins to like tilt the paper towards Raymond's mouth. "The saliva will break your fall." And he funnels you into Raymond's mouth, and down the hatch you guys go. I will bring you over to the next map, which is
As we slide down a tongue, I'm just like, yay!
No one wiped their feet.
Wait, why is Tyrion's voice the same?
We're in scale.
For those of you who have dark vision, things are quite dim down here. Tyrion,
God.
not so nice down here. It's very dark and mushy and squelchy and warm and
Depending on where he put the stone, he will have some light.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
I've got that. Yeah.
what's the
That's
light?
his.
It's
pocket
5 foot
is-
bright light and then 5 foot extended from that dim light.
Say that again, sorry.
5 foot bright light around him and then 10 foot dim light after that.
Would I be able to conjure some dancing lights?
I mean, you might give this poor fellow indigestion if you do that.
Heartburn, yeah.
I mean,
Grant, doesn't Shadar have conjure Gaviscon?
Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna
God.
love these
Guys, you better leave her alone. Like,
Yeah. I hope chat will be able to stomach all these puns.
Hey.
So here you are. Kind of you ventured down a good way. I mean, this place is like a really warm swamp. Like the floor is squelchy, and and before you guys venture any further, I will note I didn't do biology for the leaving cert. Okay. Ray's anatomy
it's a different universe. So
Yeah, exactly.
This map is not
Magic.
anatomically
Don't have to
correct.
explain it.
Shadar will nudge me and go, "Well, I mean, I hope this quest is not in vain."
Damon's like bouncing behind him like it's a bouncy castle, just like boing, boing.
And you actually are, Damon, because the further you travel, the closer you walk down this this artery or whatever, you're just hearing doof, 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 doof.
well, he's still got a heartbeat.
Let's get to the heart of the matter.
Gonna be doing this the whole
So
time.
I will note that only Albrecht can hear the dock
Oh,
with the site.
Well, are we? I mean, do we have to do chipmunk voices for the whole next episode?
No,
or
absolutely
okay,
not.
That was because we were talking to the dock.
we should.
okay, cool.
If you want to. If anyone wants to buy helium balloons for next session.
Further need to the helium balloon.
So, Tyrion,
Let's continue and try not to lose our nerve.
Tyrion, you have entered this large chamber, and all the walls are just beating with. You kind of feel a little bit woozy because the walls are just waving in rhythm of this pounding.
I think I'd like to test the sending stone as well, Mark. Doctor, this is Albrecht. We're
Yes.
alive and well
Excellent.
somewhere inside this fellow. Can you hear us?
I can. Yes, I can.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh,
my
actually, Shadar, don't move for a second. I think my dynamic lighting is fucked.
I think.
Oh no, it's not. You're good. Sorry, never mind.
I think Crate has won the puns award for this evening.
Like
Team of goblins.
Guess what you're encountering next week?
Seriously.
No, I didn't have him. I didn't have him before, but I'm gonna have him next week.
That is amazing.
That is
fucking
excellent.
Too good to go to
well
waste.
played.
That is.
Craig
that is.
gets the award of the night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hemogoblins. That is. Yeah. No, don't see yourself out. Stay. We need you.
Stay.
Welcome to Team Dad.
Welcome to Team Dad.
So Tyrion.
This is a great map, by the way, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. This took me fucking days to draw. It's all hand drawn as well. There's no
Really?
space for this
You know
shit.
what I have to
That's
say to
brilliant.
you, Mark? Hip, hip, hooray.
Hey.
They found a hairball.
Oh, hi, Fizgeek.
There she is.
So yeah, Albrecht, the doc says, "Where are you now?"
I believe we've just entered the heart.
Okay, well, this is where most of the, as you know, the blood is circulated through the body. Watch out for
Right atrium, if I'm not mistaken.
Excellent. That does make sense. But do watch out for white blood cells. You are considered foreign objects.
Andy, as a person, has a very high intelligence and is just like in the back of my mind, like, how did we get to the wall? How did we get to the heart?
We're as
Anyway.
small as blood vessels. We can get through.
Right, but
That's
we're
how
not
we're
white
traveling
blood
throughout
cells.
the body
We
on
can't
blood vessels.
travel through.
I'll
We
ask
don't
you guys to take a couple of steps back, if that's okay.
Oh, certainly.
including Mina, or
No, you can stay put. So Albrecht and Tyrion maybe about 10, 15 feet. Yeah.
There are more.
Something like that's perfect. As the doc says this, that you're considered foreign entities in Raymond's body. White blood cells are known to attack certain.
Hey,
things
Shadar,
like
I hope
that.
we don't have to go all the way to the foot to heal this guy.
Well, I'm sorry. I was thinking had the doctor just amputated his complete left side, he would still be
Well-
all right.
I'm sure these white blood cells can be reasoned with.
And no sooner do you say that, Albrecht, kind of
Ah!
surging through the veins, a few of them plop out.
Oh no.
these white balls of ooze.
Are you kidding me?
And I think we'll roll initiative at the start of next session.
Just one more hour.
Yeah, I could do it. Let's go.
Stay on for half an hour.
I actually can't. So
Okay, no worries. Well, that's fair.
I actually cannot. But blame Lorcon. I'm fucking wrecked.
Oh, me too. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we'll pick this up next time. We are at the heart of the issue at the moment, but you know, it won't be long before we get to the rest of them.
Oh, there's an A4 sheet hanging up beside that computer right now. There is.
No, I'm just kidding. There's not. But you know, we have ample time to think up of anatomy puns now.
Yeah, we've got our finger on the pulse.
And
Hey.
it gives me some time to create a character sheet for hemogoblins.
That is a great idea.
My
Listen,
kid just
at least you
messaged me and was
started
like,
off on the right foot.
yeah. My kid just messaged me and was like, and it was just getting good.
Wow,
It was
at the
terrible
end.
before.
It was shit at the start, but yeah.
She's only been watching it the last half hour.
We've only got organized now. So.
Hey.
Nice.
So yeah, no better excuse than to tune in next time and see what happens inside the human body.
Come up with your best puns. We want to see them.
Well, look, if we do this right, then he'll be healed.
I already used that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
She just said to me, it's giving me the magic school bus vibes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the last time, and I was like, I've never seen the magic school bus. So
I was thinking
tune in
inner
for more
space.
ships next time.
Osmosis Jones.
yeah, I was thinking inner space as well.
was
Osmosis
thinking-
Jones, I've never seen that either.
That's
Yeah, just inner space for me.
So
I don't want to say goodbye.
I know, right?
it is unfortunately goodbye for now. But
No.
thank you everyone for watching. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
for,
thanks everybody.
Cheers,
Thank you
guys.
so
Thanks
much
for
for
tuning
Thank
doing
you,
that
Mark.
for us, and thanks
Yeah,
everybody.
thanks,
great game.
Mark.
And
watching.
thanks to Christian for running everything so
Of
smoothly.
course, as
Yeah.
ever.
So hope to see you guys next time and talk to you later.
Thank you.
Until
Bye-bye.
then.